for seeing that rotation. And again, we do have confirmation on the ground, and we have those signatures coming through for us on our radar. Looking just a little further south, we also have a tornado warning. This is for Crawford County, just outside of Hillsborough. That latest scan just shifting things up quite a bit for us, Gary. You can see the hail signature along with this. A lot of heavy rainfall. This is just west of our viewing area, but anyone in the Boston area or Elroy area does need to seek shelter. It's in Vernon County right now. That tornado warning goes until 4:45.
And Dana, a couple quick updates. First of all, the National Weather Service in Sullivan has now issued a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15 for far northwestern Sauk County. So again, that is because of that cell that is right around Hillsborough.
So this is just downstream.
I'm just going to move the map here. So this is the new warning here, and it's just the main part of the storm will pass just to the northwest of Sauk County. Hail is probably going to be the main threat. Maybe some strong winds right now, but because of the possibility that the storm could produce a tornado, the National Weather Service on the warning itself for far northwestern Sauk County does have tornado possible on there. But farther to the north, again, we have I'm just being told I-90-94 eastbound at Oakdale is being closed. Do we know why? Is that because of damage?
That's close to the area where we had that debris signature going directly over the interstate. That is the exact area.
So there you can see it says closed because of a crash there and a tipped semi. So again, this is that's from the storm that's farther to the north. Let's go take a look at that storm. Why don't you just guys come back to me here, Dana? If you want to just take a little bit of a break there. I know you're okay.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yep.
But right now, the area that we're most concerned with right now is in the western portion of Juneau County. That is that cell that's moving. That the latest information from the National Weather Service said the tornado, large and extremely dangerous tornado, 11 miles northeast of Toma, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So that is the cell that we're watching right there. We'll look at the wind velocity. You can see the velocity, just a tad less than what we saw before. Let's take a look at the debris signature. Still seeing a debris signature, though. So that is debris being lofted in the air.
Debris being lofted in the air. That velocity signature is not quite as tight. However, it really lined up with that radar scan you had pulled up, Gary, where there was a bit of a hook. So again, seeing those signatures and that confirmation on the ground, that's why the warning is in place for us right now, Gary. Yeah,
and you can see right there, this is just to the northeast of Wyville and just to the northwest of Cutler, and also we'll do a quick measurement here. So here's Necedah. So this would be about 10 miles west-northwest of Necedah. So that's the area of the tornado. It is heading to the northeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. We now have a tornado warning for southwestern Juneau County. That's what we were afraid of for that storm that is moving out of Vernon County, and so this is out of the one around Hillsborough in the northeastern portion of Vernon County. We now have a tornado warning, and that is for the southern portion of Juneau County. Radar indicating a possible tornado over Hillsborough, moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So you can see where Hillsborough is here. We'll take a look at the wind velocity, and that is right there. So if you want to point out where Hillsborough is there.
Can you pull the map up just a little bit for me, Gary? This is the area that we're keeping a close eye on, again, just outside of Hillsborough. So a downstream tornado warning now extending into the southern portion of Juneau County. So this is exactly what Gary and I were expecting, exactly what we were warning folks in Elroy and Boston right now.
Manawak,
need to seek shelter immediately. This is a storm that has the capability of producing a tornado, is moving very quickly. We're seeing that debris or that velocity signature, the possibility for rotation. And this is that hook that we've also been keeping a close eye on just outside of Hillsborough right now. So this extends into the southern portion of Juneau County until 5 o'clock. This is the area outside of Hillsborough we're keeping an eye on. So right along Highway 30. 33, it looks like, or just the northern edge of Highway 80 there, outside of Elroy and towards Mauston. These folks do need to seek shelter right now.
And I'm just going to move the map here southward a little bit. We're watching other cells that are developing over Grant County. This is really what we were afraid of. The atmosphere is just poised for severe weather. So these storms can very easily go severe. So we're seeing just a little wider perspective here. So you can see the tornado warning storms, they're up from Crawford or from Vernon County into southern Juneau County, and then of course the storm in northern Juneau County. But you have all these other cells that are developing severe thunderstorm warnings now just to the west of Dubuque, Iowa. So again, this whole area, anywhere along that line, you can expect severe weather to develop very quickly. If you are in the path of these storms, they're going to be moving very quickly, about anywhere from 35 to 50 miles per hour from what we've been seeing. The main area of the line of storms is moving off toward the east at about 50 miles per hour.
And this is a good reminder, Gary, that our entire area is under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. So while this is on our western portion of our viewing area right now, where we're keeping a close eye, again, this is the entire view right now. Over the last 3 hours, this line building in, we have a tornado watch until 10 because the atmosphere is so warm and so humid right now. These storms building in to a really unstable environment. So looking at our future track, the arrival time here, the heavy rainfall getting right over downtown Madison as we get closer to about 7 o'clock. You can see to the north we have that heavy rainfall. There's a threat throughout the rest of this evening for high winds, hail, heavy rainfall, and a few tornadoes. So this threat is going to continue. That's why that tornado watch is in effect. It means we're watching the area right now. But right now, we're keeping a close eye on these tornado warnings. Also,
so yeah, let's just summarize these that we have right here.
Yep.
So we have the tornado warning. This is for the southern portion of Juneau County until 5 p.m. And then I'm going to reset this here. This is Monroe County has now been dropped from this tornado warning.
So this is Juneau and Adams
But
counties.
this is Juneau and Adams counties tornado warning there. And that is until 5 p.m. as well. So
this is now just north of Necedah right now, stretching to the northern portion of Juneau and Adams counties. Again, it goes till 5 o'clock, bouncing down just a little bit for the southern portion of Juneau County. So just outside of Elroy and Mauston, this is the area that we're keeping an eye on. A downstream tornado warning with a possibility of producing a tornado. We've seen the hook pop up, that hook echo on our radar. This line that we've been watching now moving in. It does look like we just had something else popping up in Sauk County, Gary, south of that tornado warning.
Okay,
outside of Cutler, I'll let you look at that real quick. Outside of Cutler and north of Necedah, this tornado warning also until 5 o'clock. This one, a dangerous situation. We have that confirmation on the ground, and then we also have the radar confirmation. So in northwestern Sauk County right now, in northwestern Sauk County, a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning for us in southern Juneau County, a tornado warning in northern Juneau County and in Adams County right now until 5 o'clock. The threat there in Juneau and Adams, considerable tornado on the ground, has been observed on the ground, and we have that debris signature popping up. Looking a little further south, the southern portion of Juneau County and the northwest corner of Sauk County. Sauk County right now under a severe thunderstorm warning. The southern portion of Juneau County under a tornado warning. Also still monitoring this tornado warning in Juneau and Adams counties. Monroe no longer in it, as that threat is moving very quickly now into Juneau County.
Yeah, Dana, I'm going to just give you a break here because I'm going to have to reset some stuff on the radar here just so that we can, I want to make sure that we're covering out. We've had multiple warnings here. I want to, at least for the time being, give Dana a break so she can grab something to drink real quickly and just kind of quickly go over the warnings that we have in effect here, and I'm actually going to recenter. So the first one we have, this is the most serious storm that we have. This is for the northern portion of Juneau County, northern Adams County. This is a confirmed tornado now approaching Highway 80. So that warning in effect until 5 p.m. So the next warning is farther to the south. That is the tornado warning. We have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for the northwestern portion of Sauk County. That's as a storm moves out of the Hillsborough area farther north. And so I'm just going to move this one down over here. And in between, I'm going to get the other warning here because we have three warnings. We have the tornado warning for southern portions of Juneau County. This warning here is in effect, I believe, until 5 p.m. and that is for the area around Elroy up as far as Mauston. So that is east of Highway 80. That storm right now heading toward Boston and Hillsborough. So I'm just going to save these so that we can come back to them very quickly. We'll take a quick look at the wind velocity here. So this storm is right over Elroy. If you are in Elroy, you need to be in a safe area immediately. It's not as significant of a circulation as the storm farther to the north, but Boston, you are next in line. So anywhere along Highway 82, Highway 80, north and east of Elroy, you need to be in a safe area immediately. For the warning for Juneau County and Adams County, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more here, and we're going to do a quick storm track on this. Again, this tornado warning in effect until 5 p.m. and just seeing if there's any additional information. Usually we get updates from the National Weather Service every few minutes. They're still talking about a large and extremely dangerous tornado 10 miles northwest of Necedah, as we showed you before, moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. So that's the speed that they have on it right now. If we look at the wind velocity, you can see the velocity, the rotation is not as intense. This is north of Cutler, there's Necedah. So that's where the rotation is. If we go and we look at the debris signature, we're still seeing some debris lofted. It's not as intense as it was before, but again, this is approaching Highway 80. There's Armenia to the north of Necedah. So this is heading in. And so we have an image coming in from Twitter of the tornado.
I believe so. Yes.
This warning here, and I'm going to save this here so that we can come back to it very quickly. This is a tornado warning for the northeastern portion of Richland County until 5:15. This does include Richland Center. And we'll take a quick look at the wind velocity here. This is, let's see. So right around Richland Center, you can see another area of circulation just to the southwest of Richland Center, moving to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour.
So this does include Richland Center and Rockbridge. So this is right along Highway 14, extending up to 56. Folks in this area do need to seek shelter right now. The center of this, just southwest of Richland Center, that's where we're likely seeing rotation right now. So closer to Richland Center as we get near 440, Willow by 455, and Lime Ridge by 502. So still moving quite quickly right now, and not getting as clear of a debris signature there, Gary, as what we saw further north, but that concern, the possibility for rotation still there. That tornado warning, the one of most concern in southern Juneau and Adams counties right now, still until 5 o'clock, just west of 80. The rotation not quite as tight with that last velocity scan that we saw, but still seeing that debris signature, and still anyone right in this area just west of 80, north of Cutler. Anyone east of that, northeast of that, Armenia included, does need to seek shelter right now because we are still seeing that hail signature and high winds along with this. So the velocity not quite as tight, but still seeing that heavy rainfall. The southern portion of Juneau County, this tornado warning stretching from Elroy to Boston and stretching down 58. It does look just northeast of Elroy.
I would say this area right in here, just east of Elroy and just southwest of Boston, that's the area that the wind circulation is taking place. If we look at the debris, not seeing any debris lofted there, so that's a good sign. Does not mean that there is not a tornado on the ground. Farther to the south, we have a severe thunderstorm warning just for the northwestern portion of Sauk County around Woodland. That is mainly for hail and high winds, although it is possible that the storm could eventually produce a tornado. And then we have the tornado warning for Richland County. This is northeastern portions of Richland County, including Richland Center and Rockbridge. Tornado warning in effect until 5:15.
So this is our latest tornado warning coming in right now for Richland County. We have 3 tornado warnings, 1 severe thunderstorm warning right now. This latest tornado warning in Richland County. This building in, looking at our radar loop over the last hour very, very quickly. Richland Center included in this, Rockbridge also included in this. As we can take a broader look out this line, this is what's triggering all of these tornado warnings extending through our area. Southern Wisconsin under a tornado watch until 5 o'clock. This line is producing already a considerable threat and concern for tornadoes, but the concern also for hail and high winds as this continues to build in. So this loop pulling us over the last hour, things are moving through very, very quickly. The southernmost and most recent tornado warning is radar indicated, but still, folks in Richland Center right now, it does look like the front edge of that getting very close to Richland Center, right along Highway 14. Looking into Juneau County right now, it's the southern portion of Juneau County under a tornado warning. Further to the north of Necedah, this is not purple anymore, Gary.
It's a good news. The National Weather Service La Crosse saying that confirmed tornado 9 miles south of Babcock or 20 miles northwest of Friendship and being northeast at 40 miles per hour. So again, this circulation has weakened a bit, but it is still capable. It actually is producing at least a confirmed tornado on the ground, not as intense as it was before. If we look at the wind velocity here, this is going to be right around Armenia, just to the west of there, south of Remington. So again, the circulation just to the east of Highway 80, it is a little broader circulation. So we're not seeing that really tight circulation that we were seeing before. If we look at the debris signature, still seeing some debris, but this may be delayed a little bit because we have the circulation now over here, the debris back over here. So it'll be interesting when the new scan comes in for this, because basically the National Weather Service radar, as it goes around, detects the rain and precipitation and whatever else is being bounced back to the radar at different levels. So it takes a couple of minutes for the computers to kind of scan everything and then give us some more information. So now, more tornado warnings. This one is for northeastern Grant County and southeastern Richland County. So let's go back to Dana.
Let's do a broader look, yeah.
And so let's, we're going to go farther south here.
So now this is the southern portion of Richland County. So south of Richland Center, Muscadet included in this, Buena Vista included in this, north of Avoca. This is our latest tornado warning. Avoca, I apologize, Avoca. This is now 4 tornado warnings for us right now. This latest tornado warning goes until 5:30. In Grant and Richland counties. This is the area just outside of Muscadet that we're keeping an eye on. Highway 60 and areas north, and then right along Highway 14 still. Anyone within this area does, again, need to seek shelter. There is the possibility for that line to produce a tornado right now and also bring the high wind and hail threat into the area. Possibly seeing some rotation there, again, right along Highway 60 and Muscadet. Not seeing a tight rotation, but still possibly in that area. So radar indicated possibly on the possible capable of producing a tornado. Looking at our debris signature right now, again, just outside of Muscadet. And along Highway 60.
Yeah, that may be hail that's to the southeast of Muscadet because it's not located with the wind circulation. So again, that doesn't mean that the storm is not producing a tornado or will not. That area is under a tornado warning.
It's capable.
And so we have that, and another tornado warning. This one to the north. So, I mean, the Weather Service is just, you go from the La Crosse office to the Sullivan office, and this is a new one.
So this is, but you're right, Gary, this is another important thing. This is right at a crossover between 2 of our radar sites. We have the La Crosse radar site and the Milwaukee Sullivan radar site. So that's what we're working on right now. This is downstream of those 2 warnings in Richland County and the northeastern portion of Grant County. So this stretches for us into Sauk County, including Highway 12, Baraboo, Plain, Loganville, all downstream of this line as it's moving through very quickly, Gary. We've watched this build in over the last hour.
Yeah, the National Weather Service actually has the storm moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Wow. So if we do a storm track on that, and again, this is right around the Muscadet area, at 55 miles an hour, this shows you how far it'll be moving. So Plain, you'll be in line with the storm by about 5:02, and eventually up in areas west of Baraboo probably by around maybe about say 5:15, 5:20. So
Viewers are asking about the Baraboo area.
They're asking about the Baraboo area. So, okay, this
Baraboo would be in line for this.
Baraboo is in line for this. So Baraboo is now included. I know that we're streaming on a few different platforms, so that's a great opportunity for folks to ask questions and give reports of what you're seeing on the ground. So in the Baraboo area, now included in this tornado warning, this latest warning, extending into parts of Sauk and Iowa County downstream of this line in Richland and Grant counties right now. So this is a downstream warning, but the storm is moving very, very quickly. So we're looking at this impacting Baraboo as we get closer to about 5:15, so another 30 minutes right along Highway 12. Plain and the eastern portion of Sauk and Iowa counties and include, or western portions, excuse me, of Sauk and Iowa counties included in this warning. Folks within this area do need to seek shelter right now. I know Baraboo includes a lot of campgrounds and of course Devil's Lake. That area you need to get into a secure building. We've talked about this a few times. Mobile homes, not a safe option. Trying to be in your car right now, not a safe option. You need to be in a secure structure. Gary?
Yeah, let's run down because we have a number of warnings that are in effect, and let's just give Dana a chance to catch her breath here for a second while I recenter the radar. Basically, what we have several tornado warnings that are currently in effect across the area. First one, this is a tornado warning effective until 5 p.m. This is for the northeastern portion of Juneau County, northern portions of Adams County. This is for a tornado that has done damage in the area around Oakdale, around Toma, now north and west of Big Flats, north of Necedah. That's the area that's most at risk there. Farther to the south, we have another tornado warning. This is for the southern portion of Juneau County. This includes Elroy, Wanawak, up toward Mauston. If we look at the wind circulation there, it looks like the wind circulation now is probably just to the southeast or southwest of Mauston. Again, a wider, a little broader wind circulation, but a tornado warning in effect for that area nonetheless. We have another tornado warning, or a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for northwestern portions of Sauk County. That is for the southern portion of that storm. Then farther to the south, we have a tornado warning. This is for the eastern portion, or southeastern portion, or northeastern portion of Richland County, including Richland Center. That is in effect until 5:15. Then we have a tornado warning. This one is for Iowa County and Sauk County until 5:30. That is basically for the storm that's around Muscadet. And then farther to the south, I'll just add this one in here, we have that tornado warning. This is for the southeastern portion of Crawford County, I believe. That warning is right around Muscadet there. Actually, let's do this here. There we go. For Grant, far northeastern portions of Grant County around Muscadet, and then the southeastern portion of Richland County around Buena Vista. That warning in effect until 5 p.m. So I'll just add that to the list here. Again, it's one of those kinds of days. Right now, probably the storm that's still of most concern is the one in the northern portion of Juneau County, because this one has had a history of producing tornadoes. A
considerable threat in the northern portion of Juneau and Adams counties. Gary, if you wouldn't mind really quickly taking a broader look. I know we just went through the full list of the warnings. I want to take a look at the bigger picture very quickly and then get back to those individual threats. We are under a tornado watch throughout southern Wisconsin until 10 o'clock. So I know in our different streaming options, people have been asking questions about timing. Folks off to the east here need to have a way to receive warnings later, because as we look ahead at our 3-hour future track, this is going to continue to build in over Madison, Janesville, Monroe, Beloit over the next few hours. So this is going to continue to build east and have quite a bit of strength along with it. While you're not under a threat right now, you have to have a way to receive alerts through the rest of this evening. Those of you right now, again, under those warnings, that list that Gary just went through, you need to get to a safe spot wherever you are at. The center of your basement is the best, the lowest lying area away from any exterior walls. If you don't have a basement though, an interior room or a closet on the lowest level. A bathroom also a great option. Getting into a bathtub. Yes,
Dana,
sorry.
excuse me, we've got a live picture. This is outside of Mauston. Looks like from a DOT camera there, showing the storms rolling through there. And we now have a new, I'm sorry,
Yeah, why is it green?
not sure. Somebody asked why is it green. I'm not sure.
And the camera's out now. So
yeah,
it could have That's one of those where sometimes the color coming through from those DOT cameras, it could be a glitch thing. It could be that outside it is looking more of a yellow or hued tint, but the color on those DOT cameras isn't always super accurate for us.
And
that latest warning coming in, Gary?
Yeah, this one will be in effect until 5:30, and let me see if I can get that one called up here. This is for southeastern Juneau and west central Adams County. So that's the one that's flashing
so this
right here.
Outside of Boston.
Yeah, so this is basically an extension of the southern Juneau County warning. This warning in effect, and I'll add the information here, that's in effect till 5:30. So that's basically from Boston as far east as Adams and as far northwest as Springfield. And boy, another. I mean, there's just like one right after another. So we have that warning, and then and the National Weather Service, to be very honest with you, is just trying to keep up with these storms because they are all pretty much capable of producing tornadoes. And
absolutely.
So,
I mean, that's the point of issuing the warnings, Gary. Warning folks that way they can seek shelter and they can keep themselves safe. So a few new warnings coming through, Gary. Do you want to pull these up?
And so let me just add this one here. Charlotte Deleste is acting as our runner right now. She is literally running stuff off of our printer as it comes in. So this is for Sauk County.
Oh, okay. So outside of Reedsburg.
So yeah, this is the northern portion of Sauk County, tornado warning until 5:30. So that basically covers the storm coming out of Richland County. So again, I'm just going to add this to the list here, but I'll give you one quick wide perspective.
If we can take a bigger view, I think it's easier almost to see how things are being issued downstream. We'll take a closer look in a second at the individual highways, but you can see the line here, and then downstream for Iowa, Sauk counties, Juneau, and Adams counties. Those are the warnings that have just been issued, just come out for us, going until 5:30. So these in front of the line, folks, again, in front of the line, do need to seek shelter, but we now have several tornado warnings in effect. Those under immediate impact just outside of Lone Rock, extending all the way up through Boston and up into the Rockbridge area as well, into Juneau and Adams counties, and now extending more into Adams.
So let's just make this easy. I mean, if you are anywhere west of Wisconsin Dells and say west of Dodgeville, you probably should go to a safe area immediately. Pretty much all of Sauk County, most of Juneau and Adams counties under severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings, as well as most of Richland County, northwestern Iowa County, north and west of Dodgeville, and the far northeastern portion of Grant County. So again, this is just a serious situation. I'm trying to monitor the National Weather Service to see if we're getting any reports. We're seeing some reports from law enforcement of possibly some damage in around Boston from these storms. So,
and we had a few reports near Toma, and that was where a section.
And so, James, excuse me one second, James, you said tornado on the ground where? Okay, so tornado on the ground, southern, and this is from the National Weather Service in La Crosse. I'm not sure. They say it's moving toward Boston, and that's as of 4 minutes ago. But we're again, I'm trying to see where.
Can you flip over?
Yeah, there's a couple of areas of circulation, and it's possible it could be tornado, could be very high winds. The area south of Boston more likely could be straight line winds. The area northeast of Boston could be more of a tornado, but it's very difficult to say. Again, when you're in a situation like this, we're getting all kinds of reports. We've got producers talking to us. We're monitoring the National Weather Service for their reports. They're getting reports from law enforcement, storm spotters that are out in the field. We're monitoring the radar. So we're getting it's kind of like drinking water out of a fire hose. You just have a lot of stuff going on. Some of these reports may be accurate. Some of them may not. We're not sure. It's hard to filter those out. But
this was directly from the National Weather Service in La Crosse, Gary.
Okay, so from the National, and
this is a second touchdown separate from the Toma tornado in southern Juneau County.
Yeah, so this is a confirmed tornado 7 miles northeast of Boston. So the original report that we got was southwest. It's actually 7 miles northeast of Boston, and that makes sense because that's exactly what I was talking about.
This is where you were looking at, yeah.
Yeah, the south of Boston, it's more likely to be straight line winds. Northeast of Boston, it's probably this area right over here where let me just see if I can So somewhere right in there, that circulation. So again, confirmed tornado out of that circulation doesn't look too impressive right now, but again. Yes.
As you drove home a second ago, Gary, you said we got that report a few minutes ago. There's a possibility for that. The storm has a history of producing a tornado. There's a possibility for it to do it again.
And the report now a little bit updated from the Weather Service, confirmed tornado damage to the Mauston Hospital and grounds in that area. So again, a serious situation. But this is not the original storm that was farther to the north that moved through Toma and then up. And this is the southern storm that came out of the Hillsborough area. So again, these storms are spiking up. They could produce damage. They could produce tornadoes very quickly in the weather situation that we're in. And notice here, and I'm just going to highlight that area because this is the tornado with the Mauston storm. Confirmed tornado 7 miles northeast of Mauston, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So this is the tornado warning for the southern portion of Juneau County and far southwestern southern portion of Adams County, south of the city of Adams. So again, this is just it's a serious situation.
It's a serious situation, extending with all of our different tornado warnings, but even within those warnings, again, Gary pointed this out just a second ago, we have the possibility for straight line wind damage, for hail damage, and for these tornadoes on the ground. And straight line wind damage can cause just as much destruction as a small tornado. So when we tell folks to get inside, this warning is issued for your own safety, your own protection. These warnings extending right now pretty much west of the Dells, all the way up and down Sauk, Richland counties, Juneau, Adams counties, including that, Iowa County, the northern portion of Iowa County included in that. So we have warnings extending now through most of the area. So Gary, right now trying to keep everything organized, but as this line builds in, while it is still west of the Dells, we're also keeping an eye on the rest of the area because it's going to continue to build east. So this is what we're looking at right now, just outside of Mauston, northeast of Mauston. That was where we had confirmation from the National Weather Service office in La Crosse of a tornado on the ground just a few minutes ago. The velocity does look like things are a little broader. However, the storm has a history of producing tornadoes. That means it can happen again if there isn't something on the ground right now. So anyone within that area does need to seek shelter immediately. This does extend.
I'm just trying to line up all the tornado warnings that we have right now, just so that people can get an idea. Because, like I say, there are so many different warnings that are, and in fact, it's hard to really determine what is the most serious ones and which ones are in areas where things may be starting to clear out here. And so I just want to kind of line them up from.
Can we go north to south?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So let's start out here. So we have the.
Sure. Yes.
I'll let you drive. I'll drive
okay.
the radar and you point them out here. And so
Juneau and Adams counties right now, Armenia included in this. This goes until 5 o'clock, so about another 4 minutes. But this is downstream from that Toma warning. We can still see that hail signature moving a little further south right now. The southern portion of Juneau and Adams counties, northeast of Mauston. We had a confirmed tornado on the ground. This warning extends just south of Quincy and just west of Adams, so right along Highway 13. That goes until 5:30 as well for the southern portion of Juneau and Adams County. Moving just a little further south now, right along this line. The next warning in Sauk County, or in Sauk County until 5:30.
It's like you said, I want to recenter the maps here so that we have the latest information.
This includes Laval and Reedsburg. Again, we're seeing that hail signature. We're also seeing the possibility for rotation and for tornadoes. So that warning also until 5:30. Moving yet again further south through Sauk County. This downstream extending for the rest of Sauk County, including the Baraboo area, including Highway 12, and just outside of Honey Creek and Sumter, North Freedom also included in this. This is a radar indicated tornado. Just right now, the leading edge of this lining up with Highway 23. So anywhere east of Highway 23, you need to seek shelter immediately. Anywhere right along Highway 23, just west of Plain, you need to be in your safe spot right now because we are seeing that radar indication. I believe
I'm just going to.
About Wisconsin Dells.
the Dells, this is just, again, southwest or south of the Dells right now, so or just in that area. Still far to the west, but this is included in that need to seek shelter in front of this line. They need to seek
I would say
shelter.
Juneau, Adams, Sauk,
Richland's almost out, but
Iowa County, you need to be in a safe shelter area. And then if you are in, say, Marquette County, Western Columbia County, so basically anywhere west of I-39, north of Madison. And I would say if you're in the western portion of Dane County, you've got about 45 minutes to an hour before the storms will start moving into Dane County. So again, right now, all the tornado warnings are in the northern portion of this line of storms. And I'll just do the little wider radar perspective here. I mean, there's tornado warnings as far north as Wausau now in the northern portion of the line. But as time goes on, the one thing that we are noticing is that we're not seeing so much the individual thunderstorm cells as more of a solid line. So the tornado threat with time will start to go down a little bit, but the high wind threat will continue to go up. And in fact, we're now seeing more severe thunderstorm warnings. This is for Juneau and Adams counties up to the north here. These are new warnings that are coming out, and they're for a tornado possible. But right now, the main threat is going to be straight line winds to 60 miles per hour, as well as hail. But farther to the south, again, these storms are now starting to form more into a line. So there will be still a tornado threat, but probably not the long-lived type tornado threat. More, unfortunately, tornadoes that are harder to pick up because they don't last as long. Dana did a story a couple of months ago about the Stoughton tornado that happened earlier in March. Spun up very quickly. There was no warning on it because it was along a line of storms like this. And so sometimes in a situation like this, while the tornado threat goes down a little bit, the threat for at least short-lived, brief tornadoes that might not be as strong goes up. And then you also have the potential for damaging straight-line winds.
It's when it lines up like that quasi-linear system for us moving through the area. So yes, Gary just nailed it. When we have these quick systems spin up, there's a possibility that we don't pick it up on our radar scans because it does take a few minutes for the scan to complete and get that data back in, get into our system, get it on the air. And with that delay, sometimes we don't get a perfect picture of that rotation. But as this continues to build east, we're going to continue to watch these storms build into a very warm and very humid environment. This is the area we're keeping an eye on just northeast of Boston right now. So west of Highway 13 and south of Nisita, west of Adams. If we can do a sheer, yep.
Yeah, so right there, I mean, that's a good indication of the
You can see the difference there in the velocity.
The radar signal is coming from the La Crosse National Weather Service radar. You can see the radar beam coming in from the left side there. So what you're seeing is the northern area and that the screen area here, these are winds that are blowing toward the radar. These are winds that are blowing away from the radar. And so notice the difference, 38 miles an hour this way, 63. So it's almost 100 miles an hour of circulation. So again, this is the area that moved through Boston, confirmed damage at the hospital, and now the storm moving northeastward. Let's take a quick look to see if we're seeing any debris being lofted in the air, because that's another indication. Not as clear. Yeah, it's not as clear. That certainly doesn't mean that there's not a tornado on the ground. Exactly. It just means that we're not getting as much of an indication. Plus, we're also kind of at the edge of the La Crosse radar coverage. Then it starts transitioning over to the Sullivan radar, so we're getting farther and farther away. Debris being lofted that high in the sky is much less likely to be detected by radar.
And again, this is just outside of Boston. This is what we're keeping an eye on right now. This latest tornado warning goes until 5:30. So folks just west of Adams along Highway 13 and in Adams need to seek shelter right now. This storm has a history of producing tornadoes. We are seeing that aggressive difference in the velocity right now. It looks like areas west right now have been trimmed off this warning, but Adams still included in this. And again, Highway 13 included in this right now. The surrounding area seeing severe thunderstorm warnings coming through.
So yeah, Yeah, and I was just going to say, we're just past the top of the hour at 5 o'clock, and obviously we're on the air with continuous coverage because of a number of tornado warnings and confirmed tornadoes across the area. But as Dana mentioned, the warning for Juneau County has been trimmed back. It's now just for the southern portion of Adams, or southwestern portion of Adams County until 5:30. Again, for a confirmed tornado near Friendship, according to the National Weather Service, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. If we look at the wind velocity here, and let's zoom in that area. Let's see if we can find it.
After we look at this, Gary, now that we're at the top of the hour, I think it might be a good idea to recap the warnings again and to look through the whole line for those of you just joining us. Again, staying on with continuing coverage.
Yeah, I want to see the wind velocity difference. Yeah, this is pretty significant. We're seeing again over 100 miles per hour of wind rotation
just south of Adams.
Yep, and so. New warnings, like I say, the newer warnings that are coming in now are more severe thunderstorm warnings rather than tornado warnings. And again, they're still indicating tornado possible with these, but we'll go up to the north, and you can see how the National Weather Service is kind of trying to get out ahead of this. So the latest warning here is a severe thunderstorm warning for Marquette County, and that is until 6 p.m. But again,
notice the threat.
Yeah, it's anywhere west of Highway 39, you probably should be in a safe area right now. If you're, right along or near Highway 39 and to the east, be ready for these storms because they're going to be heading in your direction.
And they are moving through very quickly. So again, we do have several tornado warnings still in effect for us in southern Adams County and stretching down into Stock County. This is the very northern portion towards Stevens Point. I believe there's one closer to Wausau as well, but coming down into our area in Juneau County, or Adams counties, that includes Adams and just outside of Quincy along Highway 13. That goes until 5:30 north of Springville. This storm has a history of producing tornadoes. It observed a tornado on the ground there. So folks need to get to their safe spot. Moving further south, we also have a tornado warning for Reedsburg right now. So right along the northern portion of 23, just southwest of the Dells, that area under a tornado warning. Also a tornado warning including Baraboo.
Actually, you know what, Dana, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to see if I can, I think I have a graphic here that would let us show all the warnings just without having the radar on there, because I mean there's just a lot of stuff going on. So let's do this. Let's take a look at it this way, and you can see all the different warnings in effect. But they're mainly north of the Wisconsin River and along I-39. New tornado warning now for central Adams County. So that is an extension of the warning for the southwestern portion of Adams County. So yeah, that's the area almost due north of Wisconsin Dells. So again, let's kind of recap this here. So tornado warning, this is for the observed tornado that's northeast of Boston. This is the new tornado warning. This is for the eastern portion of Adams County. Farther to the south, tornado warnings for eastern Richland County and much of Sauk County. Again, these storms heading to the northeast. This is for radar indicated tornadoes. These warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, are in effect for the southern portion of Adams County and all of Marquette County. So again, all of this activity mainly north of the Wisconsin River right now and along and west of I-39, but warnings are now starting to be issued east of I-39. And at the same time, if we go, and I'll take a look at just the overall radar view here so you can get a better idea of where these storms are now. There's the line, basically now sweeping northeastward, lines up very well with the 3-hour future radar. So you can see how that line of storms continues off toward the northeast. That takes it through the Madison area between about maybe 6 and 7 p.m. And then farther to the east into Dodge and Jefferson counties maybe by about 8 p.m. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a lineup there. Notice the northern portion of this line, more of a solid looking line here. This is where the wind damage potential is probably going to be highest, up through central Wisconsin into the Fox Valley. Farther to the south, you see these individual type cells here. That's where the hail and tornado threat might be a little bit higher, but that at least, as the storms start to move eastward, there looks like they might be weakening just a little bit. Of course, you start getting into the latter part of the evening, the sun starts to go down, the atmosphere starts to cool off a little bit. So you do usually have some weakening, but again, we're still expecting severe weather through much of the evening.
Oh, we're still a few hours away from, several hours away from sunset or from cooling. Things still very warm outside, still very humid for us, and that's why these storms have continued to strengthen as they have moved east. Again, we have warnings extending all the way west of the Dells, and then a tornado watch covering our entire area. This warning for Adams County now stretching towards New Chester, it looks like, Gary. And you can also see the hail along with that on 13. So
there's the first warning. That is in effect until 5:30. And then the new warning upstream is until 5:45. So basically 2 warnings there. The National Weather Service in La Crosse continuing to watch what they call the bow echo up in Adams County, heading toward Marquette County. And let me just take this off the screen here for a second, and you can see exactly what we're looking at here. And again, this is where the high wind threat might be a little bit higher, up toward Preston and New Chester. So yeah, and then farther to the south and west, even though it's outside of our area, you can see on the southern end of the line now tornado warnings back into Iowa. So, until this front moves through, there will be the potential for additional tornado warnings. So even though Grant County right now has many of the storms heading through the eastern portion of the county, there's still going to be storms farther out to the west that could affect them a little bit later on. So again, don't just, if you have storms roll through your area, think, okay, that's over and we're done for the night, because there may be a second round of storms.
Yeah, we have to wait for the entire line, like Gary said, the entire cold front right now driving through. Once it clears out completely to the east, that's when we'll call the whole threat wrapped up. A severe thunderstorm warning, Juneau and Adams County. This includes Armenia and just north of Strong's Prairie until 5:15 for us. So about another 6 minutes along Highway 80, looking just a little further.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this, because we have so many different warnings, and actually a new tornado warning is going to be coming out for the northern portion of Marquette County. And so Marquette County right now under a severe thunderstorm warning, but it looks like that cell that is in Adams County is there's going to be a new tornado warning here. So right now, this is what we have. We have tornado warning. This is for the observed tornado east of Boston. Tornado warning upstream, that is for eastern portions of Adams County. And now a tornado warning for northern Marquette County. That is in effect until 6 p.m. And that again is for the same cell there that'll be moving from New Chester over toward areas north of Packwaukee, the far northern portions of Marquette County.
So this is another downstream warning from what initially started towards Boston and again well off to the west, now along Highway 13 into parts of Adams County and stretching it to Marquette County right along Highway 39. So this latest warning goes until 6 o'clock. Yes, Gary?
Yeah, and I'm just going to save this here because these warnings are all together.
Can we go again from north to south?
Yeah, first I just want to take a look at the wind velocity here just to see where that circulation is. So this is mainly southeast of the city of Adams over toward New Chester, eventually be heading up toward Westfield. So again, if you are in that area, and this is heading a little more east than northeast than it was earlier. So if we do a storm track on this from this area here, and again at about 40 miles per hour, this would take it mainly rural areas of central Adams County and northern portions of Marquette County before 5:30 p.m. So again, this area here under confirmed trees and power lines down near, and what was that, James, again?
Near Boston.
Okay, Mile Bluff Medical Center near Boston. So again, that just adds to what we had before of the damage in the hospital area around Boston. So we've got this warning currently in effect. Let's go I'm going to go farther to the south here. And
yeah, if we can go further to the south and hold there for just a second, Gary, because we do have these tornado warnings, but this is also just starting to get along the edge of Highway 12 and southwest of the Dells. And I know a lot of folks tuning in right now from the Dells and Baraboo area, a lot of folks possibly in town vacationing. It's summer, it's the middle of June. This line moving in very quickly. This is Sauk County right now, right along again, Highway 12 and the northern portion there, Highway or Interstate 90. This warning goes until 5:30, and we've seen an indication of a possible rotation, but also again, high winds and that hail concern. So,
and Dana, we've got a live look from the Dells.
Okay, good.
This is I-90-94 there, so very dark. Do we know which direction this is looking? Okay, we don't know. So I-94 at Trout Road around the Dells there. So looking southward, but you can definitely see that storm that'll be moving from right to left on the screen there. So
yeah, and the other thing, I mean, looking at this, folks in these warned areas do not need to be driving right now. If your phone has gone off and you got the warning, you do need to get into a safe place. If you're at your home, get to the basement, the innermost room. If you are out and about, again, our streaming services, Facebook, I know folks get alerts on their phone. If you've caught that right now, you need to get to the innermost room in whatever location you're at. And if you're out in the road and you pulled over when you got the alert, you need to get into a structure, a sturdy structure, or get as low as possible. Buckle up and get into a ditch and get as low as you can. This tornado warning, we're going to bounce back further north right now because we've had reports of significant damage coming from this storm in the Mauston area. So the northern most warning in our area in southern Adams County. This is just outside of Adams, right along Highway 13. We now have downstream warnings into Marquette County. So this area already has proof or the history of producing quite a bit of damage. So folks in Westfield, right along Interstate 39, and then stretching off to the east, do need to seek shelter. So this is the latest one right now for us for Marquette County. That goes until 6 o'clock. It looks like we have something else popping up to the north, Gary.
yeah, actually to the south. Sure. This is now for Columbia County. This is basically for the activity that is moving through the Baraboo, or very close to the Baraboo area. So this now includes the city of Portage, basically from Poinet northward. So if you are anywhere along I-39, 90, 94 at that interchange and to the north and west, that area, you are in a severe thunderstorm warning. And let me just recenter the map here. This is in effect until 6 p.m. And again, straight line winds and hail, the main threats, but tornado possible. The National Weather Service tags some of these severe thunderstorms when the potential is there that they could eventually produce a tornado. So that bears some watching. And that, again, that is the northern portion of Columbia County.
And can we leave this here for just a second, Gary, because the leading edge of this right now, right along Highway 12 and Interstate 90. So right along the Dells and Baraboo right now. So it is likely getting very dark in this area, likely seeing those winds pick up quite a bit. Folks in this area do need to get away from any windows or exterior walls and into that innermost room, because we've had those indications of a tornado, and we've also had other severe weather indications. So running through these again, the center of your basement, absolutely the best location, getting as low as possible and away from those exterior walls. But if you don't have a basement, an interior room or a closet or even a bathroom on the lowest floor, also a good option. Cover yourself with pillows, cushions, blankets, or even wearing a helmet, anything to protect yourself and protect your head, because we're seeing high winds even in the areas where we haven't seen that rotation signature pop up. And if you are in a mobile home right now, if you are camping outside, you need to seek shelter in a nearby building. And I've been stressing this, a structure, not just a wooden building, but something made out of brick, something more sturdy. That's the kind of building that you should be getting into right now, because we are seeing the high winds come through. Looking at our warnings, again, this is right along Highway 12, close to Baraboo and the Dells. This tornado warning now extending through Sauk County, and a severe thunderstorm warning now for Portage and areas to the east. This tornado warning goes until 5:30, so another 15 minutes, but it has quickly progressed from Loganville right along 136 close to Baraboo right now. So those winds really ripping into the area. So we're seeing those high winds come through, and also the possibility for some hail and heavy rainfall.
Dana, just the latest update from the National Weather Service. They're saying severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near West Baraboo, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. That was as of 5:14, so just a couple of minutes ago. We're not seeing the tight wind circulation that we were seeing in some of these other storms right now. Yeah, I would think this is probably more of a straight line wind threat at this point, especially up through the Dells. They probably have had some strong winds roll through there. These will be heading eastward toward Portage and Partyville, as far north as Packwaukee, and probably as far south as Poinnette. So I would be prepared at least for straight line winds. But again, the area, at least parts of Sauk County, under a tornado warning right now, and that warning is in effect, I believe, until 5:30.
Yeah.
So let's, we got our 511 map here, and what are we seeing?
I believe this is still close to, it's a little outside the Toma area. Again, the interstate there just outside of Toma is closed right now due to a semi that flipped over. So we're...
Yeah, Highway 21 also closed. Again, that is from that tornado that went through the Toma area and then into the area up around just to the, right around Chester and just to the west of Necedah. So again, that is all from the damage that went through earlier. That storm has passed through that area, but we are still watching the southern portion of the line of storms. Tornado warning for Sauk County. We've got the tornado warning for parts of Adams and northern portions of Marquette County. That is from the cell that went through Elroy. Mauston caused some damage there. And now Weather Service saying storm capable of producing a tornado 7 miles northwest of Westfield. So that is for this storm that's moving into Marquette County. And let's see.
So this is just west of 39 right now, Westfield, right along the interstate. So 7 miles west of Highway 39.
I'm going to let you take it over here. I'm going to need to switch my batteries out here real quick.
Sure. So this, again, a downstream tornado warning for us extending along 39 in Marquette County. This is the same system that did bring quite a bit of damage to the Mauston area, moving just along Highway 13 in Adams into the southern portion of Adams County and now moving into Marquette County. So right along 39 close to Westfield right now, that's where the leading edge is. That's where we're seeing the high winds and possible rotation just west of Westfield. But everyone further off to the east, Watoma included in that, and 22, Highway 22 need to make sure that they seek shelter immediately right now. And then we have another tornado warning, I believe.
Yeah, we have a warning coming in. Just one quick thing. The northern portion of Marquette County, National Weather Service confirmed, or really concerned about straight line winds to 80 miles per hour, and that would be taking it through the Westfield area. So farther to the south now, it looks like we have a new tornado warning that'll be coming in for parts of Iowa County. Still waiting for that to come in. My producer is telling me that, but we do not have the latest information on that. It'll be coming out very shortly. But that would probably be for areas north of Dodgeville would be my guess. Again, I'm not seeing anything directly from the National Weather Service right now, but we should have a tornado warning coming out for the northern portion of Iowa County very shortly. And so we'll get on the air with that. Right now,
Right now, the Baraboo area, again, under a tornado warning that extends up through the Dells for us, and areas downstream of that now under severe thunderstorm warning. So this is right on the edge of Dane County right now. Folks in Dane County, we've been talking about it we've been on the air for the last hour and 20 minutes, actually, talking about this moving into Dane County as we get closer to about 6 o'clock. So we are at that point where folks in Dane County and looking ahead into Greene County need to start to prepare for this line to build in. We're seeing possible rotation, but also
look at the winds.
Exactly. Straight line winds coming through, and we all know all too well, not just from what we saw on Monday, but just in the last few years, straight line winds can cause significant damage, even as much damage as a small hurricane coming through. So you need to keep that in mind. These warnings might not just be a tornado on the ground, but these straight line winds causing significant damage as they come through as well. So this is just west of Westfield, just along the edge of 39, and you can see those winds just popping for us.
Yeah,
Gary.
so if you are anywhere north of Highway 82, be prepared for very strong straight line winds coming in from the west. The tornado threat might be a little bit higher farther to the north toward Westfield, but Oxford, even as far east as Montello, be prepared for very strong straight line winds and maybe even a possible tornado as well. So again, this is, it's not just the tornadoes. It's also straight line winds. It's also hail. And I'm just looking at the wind velocities kind of along the line, not seeing much in the way of strong circulations, which is good news. Again, the northern portion of that line, just as we were talking about maybe a half hour ago, how that northern portion, and I'll put the wider radar view in motion here so you can get a better idea. This line of storms basically has solidified. So now the high wind threat is basically from the Dells northward into central Wisconsin heading toward the Fox Valley. So this area here really has a much higher risk of straight line winds. The tornado threat might be a little higher farther south along the line, but even there the line is starting to solidify a little more. That doesn't mean that you can't have tornadoes. In fact, tornadoes that occur in a line of storms like this happen much more quickly, so they don't last as long, and they're harder to detect. It looks like we have a new tornado warning. This is for the northeastern portion of Sauk County. So we'll go to that here for just a second, and I've got a bunch of different. Yeah, and it looks like they're also going to extend the tornado warning into northern portions of Green Lake County as well. So let's take a look here. This is. Let's see, this is northeastern Sauk County, and that looks like that's just an extension of that warning. This is until 5:45. So this would include Baraboo, areas south of the Dells.
So this extends past this area now.
Yeah, so basically Baraboo, anywhere north of Prairie du Sac through Baraboo and as far north as Wisconsin Dells under a tornado warning now. That will be until, looks like, this one says 5:30. Looks like a new warning will be coming out until 5:45. And yeah, this includes Reedsburg, Lake Delton, West Baraboo. So
this is a shortening of it, right, Gary?
No, this is actually looks
is
like a new warning that may be coming out. Again, this area right here would be the area under the warning, but we have not gotten it yet from the National Weather Service. We've gotten a text, but we don't have the actual warning popping up on the map. So
can you zoom out really quickly also, Gary, because we're at about 5:23 right now. So I do want to take a quick look at the warnings.
Let's look at that overall. We'll look at the overall warnings here.
There, yes. So this gives us a clear, we're going to pull off the radar for a second and give a clear picture of where our warnings are at right now. So these red spots, those are tornado warnings extending from Adams County into Marquette County and also into Sauk County.
I'll actually pop them up on here, Dana, just so you get an idea. So we have the warning for Sauk County, that now until 5:45. So that is, again, pretty much the same area that was under the warning. So they've just extended it.
They've extended it now, yes. So this is in Baraboo included, 12. Looking up into the southern portion of Adams County, that goes until 5:30 for that section, but there are downstream warnings. So you look next door until 5:45 for New Chester, and then into Marquette County, that goes until 6 o'clock.
And
so
there will be
downstream.
National Weather Service looks like they will properly extend that warning. Looks like actually they decided. Okay.
They just
but here's the thing that you just saw the new warning pop up. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Green Lake County. Take a look at what this says. Destructive threat. Your emergency alert on your phones are probably going off right now because this is for destructive straight line winds of 80 miles per hour or greater, hurricane force or greater, hurricane force is 75 miles an hour. Also the potential that the storm could produce a tornado. So this is a high-end severe thunderstorm warning that will also set off your phone alerts too.
Yeah, this is something just within the last year too, Gary, of focusing in on that threat that we've been talking about. You have tornado warnings, but there's also the possibility to have significant damage from straight line winds. So this does include Green Lake until 6:15.
I'm going to go to the radar there so you can see.
So we can see. I'll step off to the side if you want to slide it over for us.
Yeah.
So again, just east of Princeton for us, and again in Green Lake County.
And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to save this for a second, and I'm going to loop the radar so you can see how quickly these storms are moving in from west to east. So you can see what we're watching, the area around New Chester, south of Wautoma. That's an area that is probably producing some very strong straight line winds, and you can see this with the velocity in motion as well.
Yeah, that bright color popping up for us. That's the area that we're talking about when we're talking about straight line winds. When we see green and red mixing, that's a good indication of rotation. But that brighter color outside of New Chester,
take a look at some of those winds. Yeah,
where we have the possibility.
Again, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's 104 mile-an-hour winds at the ground.
No, but
when we start seeing signatures like this, yeah, that catches your attention.
Absolutely. You said it earlier, Gary, possibility for a weak hurricane at this point with that destructive level of a severe thunderstorm warning. So a land hurricane passing through right now, essentially for southern Adams into Marquette and then Green Lake County. So this is right along Interstate 39, tornado warnings extending into Marquette County, and then a severe thunderstorm warning now for Green Lake County. This is moving through very quickly. So if you're in the warned area, for the very eastern edge of these warned areas, you might think things are still just a little too far off to the west. Things are moving through in 10 to 15 minutes, which is just not a lot of time when it comes to getting you and your family into your safe spot. So you do need to migrate to that area and get into the lowest location that you can, away from exterior walls and away from any windows. So bouncing through these warnings yet again towards Baraboo and just south of the Dells along 12 and Sauk County, a tornado warning until 5:30. Moving further north, including New Chester, the southern portion of Adams County, a tornado warning until 5:45. Now, next to that, as this line moves across the county line, a tornado warning for Marquette County until 6 o'clock. And then we do to the east of that, a severe thunderstorm warning, our latest warning coming through for Green Lake. It goes until 6:15, but the threat there again could be considerable damage, destructive damage for us. So the tornado possible, but also dealing with that concern for straight line wind damage. In Columbia County, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock. A tornado is possible, but also the concern for straight line winds along with that. This line extending right now for areas mainly west of Dane County, but we are right along that line, and this is lining up with our forecast.
And the other thing too that I just want to mention, those people in western portions of Grant County, no warnings for you yet, but just out to the west, tornado warning in effect for Clayton County until 6 p.m. So that is just to the west of Prairie du Chien in Guttenberg, Iowa, that area under a tornado warning, and that is for a storm near Strawberry Point moving to the northeast very rapidly, 55 miles an hour. So that would be taking it into the areas south of Prairie du Chien. This is over toward the western portions of Grant County. You may be facing a severe thunderstorm or tornado threat very, very soon.
And you said this earlier, Gary, but this is all along a cold front that is moving through southern Wisconsin, moving through the state, really. And as this line continues to pull east, we're just not going to call the threat off until all of this clears up, because there's still some storms off to the west for us right now. Even though there aren't warnings off to the western parts of the Camp Douglas area, we still do have those storms. So this line all the way up towards Wausau and extending down through Sauk County, tornado warnings almost lining up perfectly right along 39. In front of that, we have severe thunderstorm warnings extending now through Green Lake, parts of Columbia and Sauk counties with that. And some of these severe thunderstorm warnings include that destructive tag, because the concern is for a tornado quickly to spin up. When we have these storms line up in a line, a QLCS, that's what we call them. When they're in a line like this, there's a better chance to have things spin up very quickly, and we don't see it on our radar scan. So we want folks within these warned areas to seek shelter, because we might not see that perfect rotation coming through with enough time to actually issue a tornado warning. We have a tornado watch this evening extending throughout southern Wisconsin. As we look ahead to the next 3 hours, this line is going to continue to build east. Areas north of the Dells likely going to deal with that bow coming through. Higher winds along with that, similar to what we're seeing right now in Marquette and
Dana,
Green Lake County.
I'm going to interrupt you here. First of all,
Sure.
Getting reports of multiple trees and branches down in Westfield in Marquette County. That is from that storm up to the north here. And that's the storm that we're seeing moving through the basically the central portion of Marquette County. So right around Westfield, if we look at the wind velocity here, you can see there's very strong winds. They are actually swept through Westfield, now are through Montello and heading over toward Princeton. And again, there are severe thunderstorm warning for destructive 80-mile-per-hour winds for Green Lake County. We now, farther to the south, have a severe thunderstorm warning, and this is closer to the Madison area. And that is this warning right here We'll center this up. This is a severe thunderstorm warning effective until 6:15. This is for southern portions of Columbia County, northern portions of Dane County, as well as northeastern Iowa and southern Sauk County. This is for straight line winds of 60 miles per hour, some possible hail, as well as the potential that the storm could produce a tornado at some point.
Yeah, the potential is there. This line's building into a very, very warm and humid environment, and the timing for this lining up right with our forecast and what we've been keeping a close eye on. I'm hearing we have a DOT cam outside of the Dells in Sauk County. If we can take that to take a closer look. Looking north right now on 90, 94 near County A, you can see the significant rain coming through, and I can't preach this enough. I know these folks, if they're still driving, probably not listening in, because you should not be driving in this right now. Not only is visibility a concern, but just the winds coming through right now a concern. We already had reports close to Toma of a semi getting blown over. So the wind coming through does need to be taken very seriously. We have the threat for tornadoes. We have the threat for high wind. We have the threat for hail. Alliant Energy right now is reporting over 4,300 power outages for us, extending throughout extending throughout southern Wisconsin along this line. And frankly, as it continues to move east, I would not be surprised to see that number grow again, because we are dealing with high winds, and we're going to continue to deal with high winds coming through. That threat is not going to back off as this continues to build, frankly, closer to the Madison area.
And you know, Dana, you make a good point about driving in this. I would say if you are in Green Lake County, if you are in Columbia County, if you are in Dane County, if you are in the eastern portion of Iowa County, these are areas where if you're not, if you're at home and thinking of going out, I got to make a trip to the grocery store or something, wait until after the line of storms passes through. If you're in your car, you're probably not watching us. But if you're at home and deciding to go out and it's not raining where you're at, and you think, okay, well, I might have time to make it, that's where you get into trouble. So again, you probably want to wait until this line of storms passes through, because it's producing straight line winds. It has had a history of producing tornadoes, probably producing some very heavy rain. In fact, we'll take a quick look here just to see what kind of rain this is producing here. And this is just, this is over the last 6 hours. And so you can see there are some swaths that may have picked up an inch or two of rain over toward Camp Douglas. So again, this is just over the last 6 hours. If we check out the rainfall amounts there, so again, somewhere between about an inch and maybe 2 inches of rain. These storms are moving pretty quickly, so that's
heavy rainfall.
Yep,
but
and it looks like we have another tornado warning coming out. This one is for Columbia County. So let's go to that here. Thank you, Charlotte. Tornado warning, northwestern Columbia County. That is for, that's this area that's flashing here. That's the new warning coming in.
So Portage included in this latest warning.
And so, yeah, that warning right there till 6:15 for possible tornado near Baraboo, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour.
So this is the area where we're seeing that possible rotation. Again, the latest warning extending through the northern portion of Columbia County, Portage included in this. Looking at our velocity, there's possible rotation near Baraboo, but the
moving
concern,
northeast at 60 miles an hour.
So that's fast.
This shows you where it'll be
fast.
moving over the next hour.
Looking ahead to Fort Winnebago at about 5:51, Buffalo before 6 o'clock, and then just past 6 o'clock, we're near Montello.
Yeah, Portage, you're like within the next 10 minutes, but even, as far northeast as Montello, within an hour. So that storm is really clipping out.
It is moving very quickly, and again, 10, 15 minutes is just not a lot of time when it comes to getting your family into that safe spot, especially if you're getting this alert and you are outside right now, coming through on your phone. You need to get to a safe structure. So this is a warning that extends into Columbia County, right really where the interstate splits for us, including just outside of Partyville and Portage. We're now seeing this pull through the Dells, but Baraboo's still along this line where we're dealing with a heavier rainfall. A severe thunderstorm warning for Columbia, Dane, Iowa, and Sauk County. So now we're talking about Dane County. This lines up with things starting to move into Dane County right along.
Does not include the city of Madison.
It does not. It does not. No, but we're talking about it moving into Dane County. A severe thunderstorm warning for Green Lake. That wording, again, the threat here, a possibility for destructive winds. There's the threat for a tornado tornado also to develop, but even the straight line winds coming through with this line specifically for parts of Marquette into Green Lake County, we're seeing significant wind. Our latest tornado warning in a string of warnings over the last hour and a half. This is for Columbia County, Portage included in this, and this is going to be right over downtown Portage in about 10 minutes or so. There's a possibility for some rotation just northeast of Baraboo. That's what we're keeping an eye on, and it's likely going to, again, continue northeast at about 60 miles an hour, so moving very quickly. Up to the north, the tornado warning Marquette County until 6 o'clock. Yes, Gary?
No, I was just going to say, I just wanted to highlight the warning to the north and then also the one farther out to the west for Sauk County. So we have three tornado warnings and a couple of high-end severe thunderstorm warnings.
High-end severe thunderstorm warnings. This Sauk County tornado warning does go for about another 10 minutes.
And getting reports of multiple trees down with 60 to 70 mile per hour estimated winds from amateur radio reports in Westfield. So again, that lines up with the storms that have been moving through the northern portions of the area. Again, up toward Westfield. That area under a tornado warning. It may be straight line winds, it may be a tornado, but still that is just has been a nasty cell. It has had a history of producing tornadoes and now is producing straight line winds. Looks like the strongest winds have shifted to the north and east even of Princeton, but we may see maybe a little bit of a wind circulation trying to develop south of Montello. So again, tornado and a high wind threat for Marquette and Marquette and Green Lake County. And
I think we have a picture, Gary.
Yep.
It sounds like we have a picture of an overturned truck. This is just outside of the Boston area.
And that's from the same storm. That's now moving through Marquette and Green Lake County. So that just shows you how quickly this storm has moved.
And I mean, this is not our first report of an overturned tractor trailer.
Let's do this. Let's just take a look at the storm reports that we've received so far. And I mean, they're just starting to come in, but you can see, none of the tornado reports have necessarily been confirmed. I mean, right now they're listed as high wind reports, but you can see them from around Camp Douglas all the way through Juneau and Adams counties, and now up toward Wautoma and Waushara County, and the northern portion of Marquette County, right around Westfield. Let's see what the report is there. Again, that is multiple trees, and we were just telling you about that, about 60 to 70 mile per hour estimated winds from amateur radio reports in and around Westfield. So that's where the storms are. Let's do a quick overview too here of the warnings that are currently in effect. And again, you can see the reds are tornado warnings. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings, and then the lighter, and actually you can see a bunch of different colors. We'll show you why. The reds, obviously tornado warnings. That includes Sauk County. That includes Columbia County till 6:15, northern portions of Marquette County until 6 p.m. and until 5:45, just a few more minutes for the eastern portion of Adams County. We have a very high-end severe thunderstorm warning. That is for most of Green Lake County until 6:15. That is for straight line winds to 80 miles per hour. Severe thunderstorm warning for winds to 70 miles per hour or the southern portions of Marquette County. And
Gary,
then
I think a tornado warning just popped up. Another new one just popped up for us. Gary.
And that is for Columbia and Sauk. And so let's check that there.
So
yeah, that's the southern portion of Columbia County and the far southern portion of Sauk County. Tornado warning for a possible tornado near Prairie du Sac. So let's go to the radar here and see where that storm is. And that would be this storm cell right here, right around Prairie du Sac. We take a look at the wind velocity here first. So yeah, we're starting to see some wind circulation right around Prairie du Sac. You can see the strong winds here. The broad rotation is just north of Prairie du Sac, right along Highway 78, the hospital right over here. So again, it's just past there. And then also another circulation just to the southwest of where the Merrimack Ferry crosses. So again, this tracking northeast into parts of Columbia County. We'll check the debris signature here. Not seeing much in the way of anything being lofted yet, but that does bear some watching because the wind velocity appears to be strongest. Actually, I would say just northeast of Prairie du Sac. This area right over here where the reds and greens come together. We'll do a quick query on this just to take a look at the winds right now. And because this is being monitored from the National Weather Service radar in Sullivan, so they're showing winds blowing away from the radar at about 49 miles an hour, away from about 32 and 15. So most of this is basically strong winds that are blowing on the northern portion of the circulation. We've got some. This is from Boston. Some of the street lights knocked down there by strong winds. This is I believe Highway 82 in Boston there. So obviously traffic, the power is out there. Some of the street lights down. So again, that is from earlier today. That storm now is in Marquette and Green Lake counties. Now we have the new storm that is in parts of right around Prairie du Sac and Merrimack.
And that picture also a great reminder. We're dealing with power outages right now already extending throughout the area, and some power outages still from Monday. Folks need to be careful as we look ahead to later in this evening driving around, and also dealing with water on the roadways because we have seen some heavier rainfall pass through quickly, but it has passed through.
This is something too. I want to show the power outage index. This is based on the severe weather that has gone through and the likelihood that it has produced power outages. These are not actual power outages, but this is kind of a predictive thing to kind of show you where power outages are most likely. The darker the shading, obviously, and you can see that's where you can tell right where that tornado passed through from around just south of Toma through Camp Douglas, and then also the cell that went through Mauston, the southern portion of Juneau County. So that right now, that's the area that there probably are some power outages there. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are happening.
But it does line up pretty closely to that power outage map we had up just a little bit ago with the Alliant Energy. It lined up pretty closely. So looking back, here's a quick look at our current warnings. We'll pull the radar off so we get a clearer picture right now. This latest tornado warning for Columbia and Sauk counties until 6:30.
That's for the southern portion of the county.
Southern portion. Looking to the northern portion of the county, a tornado warning until 6:15. The northern portion of Columbia County. Also a tornado warning in Sauk County, and for a few more minutes actually until 5:45. I want to take a live look right now actually at the Columbia-Sauk County line. So this is on I-90 right along this county line for Columbia and Sauk counties. It looks like we're seeing heavy rain and a dark sky. Again, I've said this a few times right now, but this is not what you want to be driving in. It looks like hail also now too bouncing off the roads there. So we've had the hail signature popping up a few times. We're really talking about multiple threats with this line passing through. We've had confirmed reports of tornadoes on the ground. We've had signatures for tornadoes on the ground. So when we're talking about these warnings popping up, people do need to take these seriously. This is a dangerous line building in. It's not something that we see come through a lot. This is a look over the last 3 hours. So just 3 hours ago, we were on the western edge of Grant County. Our future track really lining up with where things are right now. So as we look ahead to the next 3 hours, right at the edge of Dane County, and then as we get closer to about 6:30, 7 o'clock over downtown Madison and building into Jefferson County, once we get after 7 and then the eastern edge of the state. So continuing to build east, things breaking apart a little bit more for the southern portion of the state over the next 3 hours, but still bringing the threat for isolated tornadoes and still bringing the threat for hail mainly into the southern portion, so our area. Again, we still have several tornado warnings in effect for us. This
Dana,
is looking up to the north.
I'm just going to clear this out here real quick so it's easier to keep track because some of these storms have moved on. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just doing just a quick little maintenance here so it'll make it easier that we can go back to the warnings that we have there. So maybe if we can go to that DOT camera again.
If we can pull up the DOT cam, that would be, it's a great reminder because looking at that opportunity or looking at that line, this is the Merrimack North Shore, and you can see A, not a lot, B, the wind that is blowing the rain through. We are dealing with significant straight line wind in some area, even areas where we're not as concerned about rotation and a tornado threat. That straight line wind is just ripping through. The camera shaking. We've seen some DOT images of trees blowing in the wind, and that's why we're concerned with this line of dealing with more power outages. We've already had reports there. We got to clear a little bit of a break in the rain. You can see a little bit of branches and debris on the road right now. So this, again, the North Shore, Merrimack, we're dealing with high wind with this area. So Gary was taking a quick opportunity to clear things out because
yeah, I just want to show the areas that are more at risk right now. We still have 3 tornado warnings. One for far northeastern portions of Marquette County, and that is, it looks like that has actually just been canceled early. That storm has moved more in, the winds have moved more into Green Lake County, so we'll put that in here too. So here's what we have. I'll go back to the warnings. We have tornado warning. This is for the southern portion of Columbia County and the far eastern portion of Sauk County. That is until 6:30. Farther to the north, we have a tornado warning until 6:15. This is for the northern portion of Sauk County. This includes Poinet, Portage, over toward Cambria, just west of Cambria, Friesland there. So that warning there. Farther to the north, we have the severe thunderstorm warning for straight line winds to 80 miles per hour. That is for Green Lake County. And then farther to the south, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning now for the northern portion of Dane County. The Columbia County portion of that has been changed to a tornado warning. This is for the northern portion of Dane County. That is for winds of 70 miles per hour. And again, that's south of Prairie du Sac, north of, Wanakee to Mazomanie, that area there, under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. So those are the latest warnings that we have right now. We put the radar into motion here, and let's see if we can get this to update. Trying to ask the radar to do a bunch of different things here at the same time. Right now, you can see, and I'm just going to roll the radar here so you get an idea of where this line of storms is heading. Basically, it's passed through the Dells area, running through central portions of Marquette County, just to the west of Princeton, farther south, approaching Lodi, Portage, Poinet right over here. You're probably getting some strong winds right now. And then farther to the south and west, you can see additional developments starting to take place over the western portion of Dane County. And that does bear a little bit of watching, because when you, as I mentioned before, you get these lines of storms, the wind damage potential is higher. When you start seeing these individual cells pop up, that's where the tornado threat is a little bit higher. And so, again, starting to see storms fire pretty quickly now across Lafayette and southwestern portions of Dane County. No warnings in effect for that, but again, that does bear some watching over the next couple of hours as those storms head toward Madison and eventually Dodgeville, Darlington, up toward, say, Albany, Belleville, Brooklyn. Those areas may be affected by severe weather probably within the next hour or so.
No warnings right now, but we do still have that tornado watch in effect throughout southern Wisconsin. That goes until 10 o'clock as this line does build in, because as Gary mentioned, these cells that are very separate have an elevated chance for producing a tornado, a higher risk for producing a tornado, whereas areas to the north that are in a tighter bow and a tighter line, we have a better risk for high winds coming through. So the
DeForest in the path.
Yes, I understand everyone streaming and asking questions. If you are east of this line, yes. The answer is yes. You are in the line for the storm to build in. Even if you're not in a warning right now, you're under a tornado watch. If you're dealing with this line and you are under a warning right now, you need to be in your safe spot, because we are dealing with high winds, possible tornado and high hail. So these warnings need to be taken seriously. And then areas downstream, while you might not be in a warning yet, you need to have your phone ready to go. That way, if an alert is issued, then you can move and get going. So
just to let you know, we're starting to get some reports of some strong winds through Grant County around Glen Haven, estimated wind gusts of about 50 miles per hour. And again, that is from the southern portion of this line of storms where these individual cells are starting to pop up. So this is something that we're going to have to watch out for the potential for another round of severe weather for parts of Grant County into, say, Richland and southern portions of Sauk County over the next hour or so.
Yeah, can we put the future track loop up real quick too, Gary? Folks were asking what does come next? When does this line build in? You can see As we look ahead to the next few hours, this continues to build east and stay strong as it does do so. This thing's likely not really weakening for us in the atmosphere until it gets cooler outside, until we get closer to sunset. And we're still a few hours away from that. It is still hot and humid outside in front of this line as it builds in. So as we look ahead to Rock County, Jefferson County, Eastern Dane County, still
I was going to do something here just to give you an idea of the temperatures here. So these are our current temperatures. And you can see how once that line of storms moves through, those temperatures drop off quite a bit. La Crosse has already dropped into the middle 60s, while Janesville's at 93, Madison 93. That would tie a record for today, by the way. Milwaukee 94, 95. So that's one thing to look at. The other thing to look at is the dew point temperatures. And you can see out ahead of that line of storms, right where the strongest storms are developing, those dew point temperatures are right around or between about 70 and 75. So again, this is where all that moisture is kind of coming together to form this line of storms. And then once the line of storms goes through, and I'm just going to put our winds on here just to give you an idea. Let's see if I have that on here. Here we go. The wind particles. Okay. Let me just show you real quick. So here's winds out of the south. Notice the wind shift to the west. So once the line of storms comes through, that's where the severe weather threat really starts to ramp down. So
wrap up. It sounds like we might have a live video opportunity for us right now.
And where is this here? Okay, we're seeing a telephone pole and power lines down. Okay. Oh, it looks like a semi way in the distance there. That's along I-90-94. So yeah, that's you can kind of. It's I'm not sure which direction we're looking at here, but again, this is this is near Oakdale. So again, that's some of the damage that has been occurring out in the area around Oakdale. This is from a tornado that moves from Toma into Oakdale and then into western portions of Juneau County. And then also a second tornado around the Mauston area caused some damage near the hospital there. So we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning here. This is farther to the north.
Is it a severe thunderstorm warning or?
Yeah, this one right here. I mean, we got so many different warnings that are going in. So I'm just going to give you a little closer view here. This warning, this includes southern portions of Green Lake County, northeastern Columbia County, southern Marquette County, and northwestern Dodge County. So this is the area around Cambria, Friesland. Again, straight line winds to 60 miles per hour, hail up to an inch in diameter, and the possibility that the storm could eventually produce a tornado. So again, this is basically south of the area of strong winds that went through areas north of Markesan and Westfield, but this is the northern portion of that line of storms that has tornado warnings farther to the south. So maybe it's, let's just go back here really quickly and look at all the warnings that we have in effect, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah, if we can take a broader look at all of those.
Yeah, so these are all the warnings, and you can see they extend up into parts of central Wisconsin. Those red boxes are tornado warnings. We have the tornado warnings for parts of Columbia County as well as Sauk County, although that storm should be moving out of Sauk County pretty quickly. To the southwest, no warnings right now, but again, those storms are starting to ramp up across Grant County, Lafayette County, Dodge County. So here are the latest warnings. Let's give you a quick update here. This would be tornado warning for southern portions of Columbia County, far eastern portions of Sauk County until 6:30. Tornado warning for the northern portion of Columbia County. That's over toward Portage and Partyville. That warning in effect until 6:15. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, northern Dane County, parts of eastern Sauk County. That warning and far southern portions of Columbia County, that is until 6:15. Newest severe thunderstorm warning till 6:30. This is for northeastern Columbia County, far northwestern Dodge County, northwest of Beaver Dam, southern portions of Marquette and Green Lake counties. And then farther to the north, we have that severe thunderstorm warning for northern portions of Green Lake County. That warning has been changed now to winds of 60 miles per hour rather than 80 miles per hour. And then central portions of Marquette County, severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock or another few minutes. So that kind of gives you an overview of where all the warnings are right now. Let's go back and take a look at the radar here, especially across the area that might have a possible tornado, and this would be much of Columbia County. So we'll start here. Let's take a look here. This is, let's look at the wind velocity first here. So it looks like some strong winds have already moved through the Lake Wisconsin area. So the area up around, let's say, in this area here, up east of Lake Wisconsin, over toward Poinet, east of Portage, that's where these strong winds are heading. So that's why that new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for the northeastern portion of Columbia County. The tornado threat has been down around the Prairie du Sac, Merrimack area. Not seeing as significant of wind circulation even as we did about 10 or 15 minutes ago. We'll zoom in on that area. And yeah, just not seeing much in the way of wind circulation. However, the National Weather Service still thinks it's the potential is there that this storm could possibly produce a tornado. So they are keeping that under a tornado warning. I'm just trying to look at the National Weather Service chat here, and looks like that has just gone out, of course. So I'm going to have to switch to another computer here real quick just to see if there. It looks like it's just updated.
Chat will take
here.
a second to
update. There's just so many people on here, emergency managers, media. So we are watching the area again. Central portions of Columbia County right now seem to be where the greatest severe weather threat is, and it's probably more for straight line winds than anything else. That would be the area right around Poinet, Portage, and then eventually heading into northeastern portions of Columbia County. So these are probably strong straight line winds, a broad wind circulation, a possibility there, but not much in the way of a tight circulation. However, that area is under a tornado warning for right now.
And that extends, again, this is in Columbia County right now, Lake Wisconsin, Poinet included in that, stretching off to the east. This goes until 6:30. So right now we are at 5:57. Another 30 minutes or so, and that straight line wind damage is a really big concern with this line that's been passing through. We've seen some really strong reports or really strong signatures on our velocity popping up of winds possibly in that 70-mile-per-hour range. A tornado warning also for Columbia County. Because of the straight line winds, I want to bounce over to take a look at the power outages right now. This is a look at Alliant Energy. We have over 16,000 customers right now without power. It looks like Green Lake and Juneau counties, really the highest number there coming in from those two counties, which makes sense because that lines up, including Marquette County, with the area that we are dealing with those high winds passing through and where we saw that significant tornado on the ground just outside of Toma. So again, over 16,000 customers without power right now from Alliant Energy due to this line building in. The line right now, or where we're keeping a close eye on outside of Prairie du Sac and heading towards Poinet, this tornado warning goes until 6:30, or severe thunderstorm warning, extending outside of that for Columbia, Dane, and Sauk County. So the very northern portion of Dane County, stretching from Mazo up through Waunakee, included in that severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. Stretching a little further north now, a tornado warning until 6:30 for Columbia and the edge of Sauk County. We've seen a little bit of a signature for some radar rotation. Also seen that hail signature pop up towards Lake Wisconsin, but the primary concern is still that straight line wind. The straight line winds.
I'm just going to take a look at hail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's right now we're not seeing huge hail, but we're seeing at least hail some areas up to about the size of a quarter. That would be up around Lake Wisconsin, that area here. Let me just do another quick check here. So yeah, hail up to about 1 inch in diameter, which is about the size of a quarter, and that would be in the central portion of Columbia County. We're also, if we take a look too at what we call the shear tracker, this shows us where we're seeing those wind rotations over the last couple of hours. And you can clearly see the activity, a couple different things. First of all, the northern parts of the area coming out of Mauston and then moving almost due east across Juneau and Adams counties through central portions of Marquette County over to, in fact, tell you what, why don't you go to camera 4 here, and Dana can point this out while I run the radar here. So you can see that area of rotation, and then farther to the south, this is where we're seeing the activity right now, from north of Prairie du Sac, now approaching Portage. That's the area of rotation that's moving, at least right now, through the central portion of Columbia County. So those are that's why there's tornado warnings in effect for that area. But from a radar standpoint, there's also been some heavy rain. That's another thing we want to just take a quick look at here. This would be radar rainfall estimates over the last 6 hours, and it looks like this is having a hard time updating. So farther to the west, most of the rain has been in the order of about a ½ inch to an inch of rain because of the fast movement of the storms. Let's see if we can get here. This might give us a little better update. This is
you
pretty
can
much
see
the same
pockets
thing.
in there, though, where there are isolated areas where there is that heavier rainfall, and then other areas where we're not seeing that accumulation climb quite as much. But these isolated pockets have seen it come through. Not in a heavy line. Sometimes we see a big swath, an area picking up a lot of rain, but right now it just seems more like isolated with some of these cells bringing in heavier rainfall than others.
And some of them too. I mean, if you look at some of the rainfall rates from these, almost 2 inches an hour from the cell just to the west of Prairie du Sac. So again, even after the severe weather moves through, you're still going to be dealing with the potential for some heavy rain.
Heavy rainfall and that possibility for winds and hail also. For those of you just joining us, I know it's 6 o'clock. We have been wall to wall for the last 2 hours straight with tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings covering our area right now. This line just slicing through central and southern Wisconsin. So these tornado warnings extending through Columbia and Sauk County. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the northwest portion of Dane County into Marquette and Green Lake counties, also Columbia County included in that. The rest of the area, this bright yellow color, a tornado watch for us until 10 o'clock. So even areas that are not dealing with a warning right now, you need to be aware that this line is going to continue to move east. So we'll bounce through these in order, going from south to north. The northwest portion of Dane County, really from Mazo to Waunakee right now, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for another 15 minutes. The threat there, considerable wind, also hail and possible tornado. Just north of that, a tornado warning for Columbia and Sauk counties until 6:30. We've seen possible rotation there, but the primary concern seems to be straight line winds with that. Just to the north, the northern portion of Columbia County, another tornado warning in effect until 6:15. Again, radar indicated rotation, but also really focusing on that concern for straight line wind damage. Just north of that, we go into parts of Marquette, Green Lake, Columbia, and Dodge counties. That severe thunderstorm warning bringing in, again, high winds for us. The rest of the area, there we go, as we slide it over, a tornado possible with it. That's been the wording a lot with our severe thunderstorm warnings because we continue to see these quick spin ups or the possibility for a quick spin up forming along these lines that might happen faster than a warning can be issued. This severe thunderstorm warning, this new one for Green Lake until 6:15. So the northern portion of Green Lake, notice these wind speeds, 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds. So while some areas might not be under a tornado warning, that straight line wind damage can still cause significant damage for us. We're also dealing with hail. We've seen some hail signatures slicing through already for parts of Juneau, Adams counties and Richland and Sauk counties, and that hail signature could be bringing some damaging hail to the area as well. The line currently just entering in the western edge of Dane County and going up through Sauk County right now. Taking a little closer look here at Portage or through Columbia County and Sauk County with this tornado warning. Again, just to the northern edge, northwest corner of Dane County and extending into Columbia County right now. Still in Baraboo, we're seeing that heavy rainfall, possibly seeing some light hail.
Look at that,
we could see in Partyville.
Yeah, just south of Partyville, the potential for some strong straight line winds. Again, this is that cell that's moved out of the Prairie du Sac and Merrimack area across Lake Wisconsin and now is barreling toward the central and northeastern portions of Columbia County, north and east of Poinet. So as these storms, and this is very close to the front edge of the precipitation. So if it's not, you may experience the strong winds even before the rain reaches you in a situation like this. We'll do a quick query here on the wind velocities, and you can see some strong winds, over 50 miles per hour. This is being scanned from the National Weather Service radar in Sullivan, Wisconsin. So it's kind of the radar beam is coming in from the southeast. So the the winds are actually blowing perpendicular to the radar beam, which means that it's underestimating the wind speeds. It's very difficult for the radar beam to indicate or to measure winds that are not blowing either directly toward or away from the radar. If they're blowing perpendicular, they're not measuring them as well. So again, when we see those bright colors start to show up, that's an indication that we're seeing some very strong winds, and these will be tracking over toward Doylestown, Randolph, eventually toward Cambria, Friesland, and the far northwestern portions of Dodge County, where a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect. So again, this area here in Columbia County under a tornado warning. Farther to the north, it's a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, you know, whether it's a tornado warning or a high-end severe thunderstorm warning, it really, from a preparedness standpoint, you need to prepare pretty much the same way.
Now that we're at the top of the hour too, Gary, I would like to take a look at our future track, if you wouldn't mind, very quickly. Sure. Because some folks just tuning in and asking what is the timing, what are we looking at through the rest of the evening. Again, so for right now it is 6:05. This line at the very northwest corner of Dane County. So looking over this is the backtrack over the last 3 hours. We are at the edge of Grant County, quickly moving through southwestern Wisconsin. Now this line is extended through central Columbia County and into northwestern Dane County. So our future track over the next 3 hours. This lines up really perfectly, actually, with where we're at right now. This is going to continue to build east.
Dana, I'm going to interrupt you here. We have a new tornado warning that is coming in. This is, we'll go back to this is actually for parts of Columbia, Dodge, Green Lake, Marquette, and into Fond du Lac County. That is this area that's flashing right here. And it's basically, it looks like it's going to be a replacement for some of the existing warnings that are in effect here. This is actually would be this one right here. So, I mean, we've got multiple tornado warnings. Let's take a look at this one here. This is for the activity that's in the northeastern portion of Columbia County. And that does include the Cambria, Friesland area, southern portions of Marquette and Green Lake counties, northwestern portions of Dodge County. So this basically replaces that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible with a tornado warning. And this is for the storms that are in the area around Portage. Weather Service is saying possible tornado near Partyville moving to the northeast at 65 miles per hour. So if we look at the wind velocity here, we'll see, first of all, if we see any wind circulation, and there, right around here, the potential there for a wind circulation that could produce a tornado. If we look at the debris signature, just to see if any debris is being lofted, not seeing this. This is also at the front edge of the line of storms. So you can see the rain just getting in this area. So as you get a line of storms like this forming, the tornado threat gets a little bit higher sometimes on the front edge if you start to see a little bit of a circulation. Right now, we do not have any tornadoes on the ground from all these warnings. I mean, and you can see the stack of warnings that we've had so far this afternoon. No tornadoes on the ground right now. We have had tornado damage earlier in the Mauston and back into the area, parts of western Juneau County.
No confirmed tornadoes on the ground right now.
Yeah, right now. But again, it's, you know, we've got several different tornado warnings. These boxes that are in red are all tornado warnings. And again, when you're dealing with a line of storms like this, a lot of times these storms can produce a tornado very quickly. So the Weather Service is trying to be a little proactive, putting the warnings out for possible tornadoes along that line of storms. The straight line wind might be a little bit greater threat, but the other thing that we're watching and does bear some concern are these cells that are starting to pop up ahead of the main line of storms, which stretches back toward the Wisconsin River. If there is a tornado threat over the next couple of hours, these cells might become the ones that are more of a tornado threat, which means areas southwest of Darlington, over toward just east of Mineral Point, and then into the southwestern portions of Dane County, south of Mount Horeb, over toward Verona. No warnings in effect for those areas, but it is something that does bear some watching.
It does bear some watching, and we keep preaching this. Again, we're at the top of the hour, so we'll reiterate it, that the tornado threat exists, especially under the warned areas, but there is also the threat for high winds to come through, for very strong straight line winds to come through. It sounds like we have a DOT camera shot. This is north of DeForest.
So this looks like I-39, 90, 94 at County V in DeForest. So this is This is actually, and what I'm going to be doing here is I'm just keep that on the screen for a second, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on that area just to show you about where it is here. So this is, and again, I can't tell, can you tell which direction that is looking? North. It's looking north. Okay, so right now, if we go back to the radar, we can see that this is the area that, this is right about where that camera is, right here in DeForest, right along I-39. So you're looking northward at this area up here. This is the leading edge of that line of storms farther to the north, and I'll just widen out the radar view here a little bit just to give you a little perspective. That's the area that's under a tornado warning. The area around DeForest right now under a severe thunderstorm warning for the southern edge of that line of storms. So if we look at the wind velocity, for example, we're seeing the strongest winds actually going to be passing to the north of DeForest. Again, there's DeForest. The strong winds are passing over toward Leeds, eventually towards Hampton. So that's the area where, at least where the strongest winds are. New severe thunderstorm warning. This is for northern Green Lake County. That just extends the warning there until 6:45. So again, this is it's a changing situation. These storms continue to intensify, and it's the question is how much they interact with one another. The more they congeal into a line, the better the straight line wind threat is. When you're seeing the more individual cells, especially like to the south and west of Madison, down toward Gratiot, over toward Darlington, those could eventually become a little bit more of a tornado threat with time, because they're moving into an area that hasn't seen any thunderstorms. The air is still very warm, very humid. We've had record high temperatures here in Madison. In fact,
can you pull up temperatures?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll put the radar here and then add the temperatures on top of that, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Farther to the west, over toward La Crosse, notice those temperatures have dropped off into the 60s and 70s. The air is cooled. The severe weather threat is ending there, and you can see the National Weather Service actually canceling out the tornado watch out toward the La Crosse area. But farther to the east, Madison, still in the 90s. Janesville, still in the 90s. Temperatures lower to middle 80s, just ahead of the line of storms, but mainly in the upper 80s to lower 90s, farther out ahead of the storm. If you look at the dew point temperatures, an indication of how much moisture, the higher the dew point, the more humidity there is. You can see dew points mid to upper 60s, Madison southward, but lower 70s, right where that line of storms is. Now, as that line of storms moves eastward into areas where the dew points are a little bit lower, that may weaken them, and that might be what's happening on the southern end of this line of storms. But then you can also see Platteville still with a 75 or 76 degree dew point. So you have warm, moist air that's feeding in from the south into that line of storms. So the straight line wind threat higher to the north of Madison. The tornado threat may eventually become a little more significant to the south of Madison over the next couple of hours. The whole area, though, moving off toward the east, and you can see on future radar, with time, these storms form more into a solid line where the wind damage potential becomes a little bit higher. The tornado threat is a little bit lower, but most of these storms, at least the severe part of the storms, moving east of Madison over towards, say, Watertown, maybe even east of Jefferson by about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. So we're just going to have to ride this out. But right now, let's take a look at all the warnings that are currently in effect.
We can get back and look at those warnings right now, because we're rapidly approaching 6:15, and I know a few of these warnings have been extended. A few of them are expiring right about 6:15, 6:30.
So we'll start from south to north.
We'll move south to north. That sounds good. Looking at the severe thunderstorm warning, 6:15 again. That's the northwestern portion of Dane County, Mazo to Waunakee, stretching into Columbia and Sauk County. So that's set to expire in a few minutes. North of that, this tornado warning until 6:30 for Columbia and Sauk County. Radar indicated rotation, but also seeing that radar indication for very high winds. A tornado warning also for the northern portion of Columbia County. This will be allowed to expire?
Most likely, because it's being replaced by this warning.
Yes, which extends into Dodge and Green Lake counties and drags up into, again, Marquette and Green Lake counties and goes until 6:45. That's where we've seen that indication for rotation, but also seen that indication for very high winds to come through. Outside of that, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the same general area surrounding that tornado warning, at least until 6:30. And notice again the wording there, the threat, a tornado possible. That's what we've seen a lot of times with these severe thunderstorm warnings, because they have the potential for a quick spin up that we might not get on our radar scan, but it's something that could happen quickly and certainly cause significant damage. That goes until 6:30 for that severe thunderstorm warning. Wind speeds with some of these warnings have been close to 60 or 70 miles per hour. We've also seen about an inch for hail, or inch-size hail, so about a quarter-size hail with some of these warnings.
Dana, I'm just going to take a look here to see if we have any new storm reports. And yeah, we're starting to get
a few more
reports. Yeah.
Sometimes these take a little longer to populate. Sometimes there's a bit more of a delay coming through.
Yeah, so, but you can kind of tell where this line of storms has come through. Again, some of these are wind reports. Some of these may eventually be changed to tornado reports. Are being just reported as wind damage until the Weather Service does a storm survey, which usually takes a couple of days to determine whether or not it's actually been a tornado or high straight line winds. But either way, it really doesn't make much difference, and you need to prepare pretty much the same way for both. We also have had some reports over parts of Grant County farther to the south for some wind damage reports there.
Gary, would you mind going back to radar really quickly? I want to kind of pinpoint. I know
which radar?
Just a general radar scan for Dane County and Rock County, if you don't mind. I know we're not into that area just yet, but it is 6:15. A lot of folks, again, tuning in at the top of the hour for 6. So I just want to recap. The entire area is under a tornado watch. We have tornado warnings to the north. That severe thunderstorm warning in northwestern Dane County has been allowed to expire. However, these storms building in are bringing in heavy rain, the potential for high winds and hail, and the potential. They've had a history of that possible tornado threat building in. So we're starting to see things, it looks like, right along West Middleton. Downtown Madison is still dry. Downtown Janesville and Beloit, you have a little more time, but this is continuing to build east. So we've been talking about this now for the last 2 hours and really for the last few days with this line building in. So we are expecting these strong thunderstorms in downtown Madison. I would give it about another 20 minutes or so before the storms build in. We don't have any warnings right now, but we're going to continue to keep an eye again on downtown and looking along 39 to Janesville and the Beloit area. Still a little bit further down the timeline, but the problem is with these storms at the southern edge right now, they're starting to break up a little bit, and that can lead itself to a more conducive environment to have tornadoes. These spotty areas could produce a higher threat for having tornadoes. Looking to the north, things are in a more organized line, and they have a better chance of bringing in very high winds along that leading line. So to the north right now, we do have 2 tornado warnings in effect. We've switched over to our velocity, and you can see how that lines up with the leading edge of our rain building in. And along that leading edge, we're seeing some really strong winds. That brighter color there, a good indication of high winds building in. Our velocity also gives us a good look if there's possibly any rotation. Our radar signatures a few times have given us a really good look. There's nothing really popping out right now for rotation, but absolutely seeing that straight line wind damage coming through, or the possibility for straight line wind damage coming through. Our shear track gives us a good look at possible rotation in those high winds, also just outside of Partyville. This lines up with where the warning is right now, and this is why we've been telling folks within those warned areas to make sure they are inside, because we can see significant damage from straight line winds. It doesn't have to be a tornado on the ground to have that destructive effect to us. So these 2 tornado warnings, including the Lake Wisconsin area and east of Highway 51, so that's Columbia and Sauk counties, until 6:30. So about another 10 minutes right now. We're having that high winds again and that hail concern looking a little further north. Columbia, Dodge, Fond du Lac, Green Lake, all included in this tornado warning until 6:45. We've had radar indication of rotation, but we've also, as we just looked at, the possibility for very, very high winds coming through the area. And some of the wind reports have been in the 60 to 70 mile per hour range. Hail also a concern. Overall, hail generally at about a quarter size, and that's enough to cause significant damage. We've seen it on our DOT cams. We've also seen it popping up on our radar scans coming through.
And especially with the, I was going to say, especially with the strong, with the fast move of these storms and the strong straight line winds, quarter-sized hail being blown around by 60 or 70 miles per hour winds are going going to cause quite a bit of damage too. So again, these storms that are racing to the northeast at about 50 to almost 60 miles per hour, they're going to be on top of you quickly. So, you know, if you're in, let's say, the northwestern portion of Dodge County under a tornado warning, these storms still are to your south and west. But look at how quickly they're moving, and they will be in your area probably within about the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Just look at this loop right now. Over the last hour, that was a 1 hour long radar loop, and you can see the distance traveled almost from the leading edge of that line completely through the warned area now and continuing to move northeast. So now we're dragging out the travel and the arrival times here for the leading line, because that's where the concern is, to see the high winds in front. So Cambria in about just a few minutes, 6:21. Looking at Cortland by 6:25, Fox Lake once we get after 6:30, Beaver Dam at about 6:43, Chester at 6:46. So quickly moving east, bringing the threat along with it. So as we look downstream, folks do need to be in their safe area. I don't think we've shown that since the top of the hour, Gary, if you wouldn't mind bouncing to that whenever you get a moment.
Yeah, I just want to show one thing too. These are the tracks of the individual thunderstorm cells, the strongest areas that are producing some, and it looks like we got a new tornado warning coming out for Green Lake County just as we speak. So let's go over there. And that is this area flashing up here. The far northeastern portion of Green Lake County over toward Berlin. Tornado warning there in effect until 6:45.
That's very small. Do they have confirmation or?
It is right around Berlin, according to the National Weather Service. Let's just do a quick check of the wind velocity here. Yeah. And you can see just to the southwest of Berlin. We'll do a quick scan here. So about 7 miles southwest of Berlin. This storm heading northeastward very rapidly at about 65 miles per hour. So while the warning is in effect until 6:45 for another 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I'm sure this storm, once it passes Berlin, will be out of Green Lake County. But again, tornado warning in effect for the northeastern portion of Green Lake County now until 6:45. And the warning for northern Columbia and far eastern Sauk County has been allowed to expire.
It has been allowed to expire. Yeah. Okay, so that again is expiring at 6:30. We're sitting right at 6:21 right now. So our latest tornado warning in the northern portion of Green Lake County, including St. Marie and just outside of Berlin, right along the leading edge here. So what we've been talking about as this line has built east, looking at that leading edge, these downstream warnings have been really lining up with that. So this is just north of Brooklyn along Highway 49, looking just a little further south of that right now. We do have a tornado warning in effect for much of the rest of Green Lake, stretching into Fond du Lac counties, Dodge County and Columbia County included in that. And that goes for about another 25 minutes now until 6:45. The southernmost tornado warning, including Poinet and just outside of Prairie du Sac, that's going to be allowed to expire for us at 6:30. So now we're monitoring these two tornado warnings at the northern portion of our area, just outside of Portage and north of Cambria. We also still have this heavy rainfall and high wind activity building into Dane County. So we looked at this just a few minutes ago.
But no warnings right now.
But no warnings right now. No warnings right now. Tornado watch in effect for us for the rest of southern Wisconsin, but no warnings for us.
Let's just take a look here. This is the very latest. Looks like. So
this is all right along that line still.
Yeah. So the yellow area is the tornado watch. Looks like a severe thunderstorm watch is being issued farther to the south, but the tornado warnings are north of Dane County. So from the southern portion of Columbia County through the northeastern portion of Columbia County, southern portions of Marquette, Green Lake counties, and northwestern Dodge County, and then far northeastern portions of Green Lake County, all of those areas. So basically that is this swath from around Prairie du Sac over toward Cambria, Friesland, north and west of Beaver Dam, and then almost all the way up into Fond du Lac County, and then the area around Berlin. Those areas all under tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings around that. But notice to the south, just the tornado watch. We don't have any warnings for Dane County or areas to the south or west yet, but we're continuing to watch that area very closely for any additional development.
We are keeping a close eye on that area as it's the southern portion of this cold front dragging through. It's also seeing these storms breaking apart, weakening a little bit, but definitely breaking apart a bit more, and that does bring a bit of a higher potential to have a tornado threat. There are no warnings right now, but we're absolutely continuing to monitor the
Yeah, it looks like a new warning
southwest.
is coming out now for the southeastern portion of Columbia County.
Oh, okay.
And that is this area right here. As Charlotte hands me the bulletin, this is until 7 p.m. Severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern portions of Columbia County till 7 p.m. For 60-mile-per-hour straight-line winds. Storm 10 miles west of Columbus, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. So
this lines up with the tornado warning that's about to expire.
Right.
This lines up with that warning. Again, the tornado warning expiring at 6:20. Now it's being replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning that doesn't discredit, though, the possibility for some pretty significant impacts from the center of this line. We do have the potential, again, Gary's dragging this out to see the leading edge here where we've seen the highest wind rates. Fall River close to 637, Westford by 649, and Beaver Dam still 653. So that leading edge where we've seen the highest wind come through, those are those arrival times. You still have just 10, 15 more minutes to get into your safe place. But the threats here, we've seen wind speeds 60 to 70 miles per hour. The threat for a tornado is still possible, even though it's a severe thunderstorm warning right now. When we have these storms line up and an edge like this and a line like this, it has a better chance
Dana,
of
I'm going to ask
producing
you
a
to
quick
stop
spin-up.
here.
Go ahead.
I think we have, are we going to be talking to Eric and Susan here?
Yeah, that's right, Gary. We are going to talk to Richard Lee. He is the village president in the town of Oakdale, and that is in Monroe County. If you know that stretch between like Camp Douglas and where the interstate splits, 90 goes to La Crosse, 94 goes up to the Twin Cities. That's kind of in that area that we're really seeing a lot of the damage here. And Richard, Rick Lee, do we have you on the line?
Yeah,
How are you today, sir? Is everything okay there in the village of Oakdale?
it is. It just went south of us about a half a mile, or started south of us about a half a mile, and then went west of the village about a half a mile.
Okay, did you have any damage there in
Any
Oakdale?
significant damage or any flooding from the heavy rain?
No, we didn't have flooding or Oakdale itself. There's no damage that we can see, but just on the outskirts of the village, we do have, I think, the interstate at the Y. The last I heard, there were 4 semis that had been laid on their sides, and so they're cleaning that up. The traffic's backed up, especially in the eastbound lane. And then it went through a couple of homes right down the road and across over to a village called Yville. And County Double P and Highway 21 and Crescent Road, it hit very heavy in that area. So there's large amounts of power outages and stuff right now. So
And Mr. Lee, I understand you actually saw a tornado. I've been told that. Is that true?
yes, I was on my way to make sure the storm shelter was open and looked off to the west, and it was right there, just going down through, and it just really looked rain wrapped and just heavy rain. So
Have you set up a storm shelter in your community?
we do have a storm shelter in our community.
Were folks using it? I mean, you said you were opening it. Have people gone into that area? I mean, tell us a little bit about Oakdale and what the housing is like there, and hopefully everybody's safe.
Everybody was safe in our village. We are a small community of just 297 people, and we provide the storm shelter in times like this because we do have homes without basements. We have mobile home facilities in town also that need shelter. So I do believe there were a couple of people that went to the shelter. I don't have a number on that right.
I'm sorry, we don't want to interrupt. Now, how is Monroe County? Are you guys all as community leaders kind of teaming together? Are you talking to people up in Toma or Monroe County officials? How are they kind of coordinating a response here?
The state and county work really well in this area. All the law enforcement, fire departments, and everything just band together, and they work in sync and well together. So when it comes to response, we've got great response up in this area.
Is the power on, Rick, in your village?
On the south side of the interstate, it's on. On the north side of the interstate, it is not, and it's out all the way over to Highway 21 and probably past there. So we're on Oakdale Electric, and those trucks are active and rolling. So hopefully they will get the outages taken care of in a timely.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of work to be done there. Is there any message you want us to send out to folks? I'm sure one of them is avoid that area, correct? If you're traveling up from Madison or traveling north into that, from the north to your area, you want people to kind of stay out of that area, I would assume.
Yeah, the sightseeing, leave that for later on. We've got a lot of emergency service people out there, and they're dealing with situations right now, and traffic is heavy. So if people could avoid it, just so there's not more mishaps or cause injury to our emergency service personnel, that'd be great.
Well, Mr. Lee, we appreciate it. We're glad you're there to serve your community, opening a storm shelter as you witness this tornado, again, from the village of Oakdale. That's in Monroe County, between Camp Douglas and the Toma area. And
Rick, thank you so much.
We appreciate your time.
Yep, you guys have a good day.
You as
Glad
well.
he is safe.
Now let's join our reporter, Will Keneally. Will, where are you right now?
So we're up in Sauk City right now. You can see the Wisconsin River behind me. We actually just went through a couple of really nice storm gusts, kind of that front that you could see propagating through Sauk County and into Dane County. We just felt two kind of cells, as it were, of that pass through. A lot of rain, dark skies, obviously, that you can see here. A little bit of wind, nothing that, would necessarily knock anybody down, but enough that you definitely notice. Sideways rain for sure. Yeah, so clear skies, we can kind of see a little bit out to the west so far. Yeah, otherwise things are pretty calm right here in Sauk City. Reporting from Sauk City, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
That's a beautiful setting there. Of course, one of my favorite in our viewing area there along the Wisconsin River in Sauk City.
And it's good to hear that things are calming down there. We have reporters fanned out all over the viewing area.
And yet, as you look at radar, it continues to be very busy. We want to get back to our weather team. They've been working tirelessly throughout the afternoon hours. The latest with Dana and Gary.
Exactly. We've been on the air now for 2.5 hours total, and we're continuing to keep an eye on things. As they just mentioned, Sauk City, things looking great. You could hear the birds chirping, but we do still have tornado warnings that we're keeping an eye on. No confirmed tornadoes on the ground right now, but the warning's still in effect for Columbia, Dodge, Fond du Lac, and Green Lake counties until 6:45, so another 15 minutes. This stretches through the Cambria area. We're not seeing, again, that rotation coming through, so not so concerned about something on the ground, but still concerned about high winds and still concerned about that hail threat. So still areas, folks inside this area need to seek shelter. Further to the south right now, severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7 now. This is our latest severe thunderstorm warning for Columbia County. The threat there's still a tornado possible, and that's still worth repeating because these severe thunderstorms do have the potential to spin a tornado up really quickly, too quickly to issue a warning, similar to what we saw in Stoughton earlier this year. So this line building in, this is a loop over the last hour, and you can see how quickly this leading edge has just ripped across Columbia County.
60 miles an hour, the fast movement there.
60 miles per hour for the leading edge, and then those wind gusts in the 60 to 70 mile per hour range at the front edge of this line. So the straight line wind damage could easily be far more significant than some of the smaller tornado damage that could pop up. Straight line winds can come through with the strength of a land hurricane, essentially. Looking at our shear here, this is south of Partyville and north of Rio. The possibility for some rotation, but still seeing that strong wind coming through, Gary, again in Columbia County right now. Hail, the other concern with this, and we mentioned earlier that hail up to a quarter size coming down is one threat. Hail up to a quarter size with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, another threat. So those two combined together, that's what we're looking at for this area. So severe thunderstorm warning right now in Columbia County. Our entire area right now still under a tornado watch until 10 p.m. The southern portion of this line just starting to enter into the Madison area. So if you wouldn't mind, Gary, getting a little closer view at Madison and the heart of Dane County here in just a second, because I know that we're right at 6:30. Folks just tuning in. We don't have any warnings right now for us in Dane County, Rock, Greene County, Iowa County. We're no warnings for the southern portion of our area, but this is built in just in the last hour, and we're starting to see that leading edge get into Middleton, moving through parts right along 18. So Verona right now, we're just on the edge of this. Downtown Madison, about 5 to 10 more minutes, and then that line will be right over downtown for us. Janesville, Beloit, still a good hour, maybe 45 minutes out. Further to the north, things a little more organized, so more of a concern for straight line winds north of Dane County. Notice quite a bit more lightning also north of Dane County, and that hail signature popping up in Columbia County right now. And that's where we have that severe thunderstorm.
And Dana, I believe
yes.
we have Tahalil Mouladine in Boston that will be coming up there. Are we ready for her, or?
If
okay,
we have her, yeah.
have her. So let's turn over to Tahalil in Boston.
Hey guys, I am actually about a half mile away from the Mawson Hospital, where we've been hearing reports of downed trees and downed power lines. We can't get any closer because the roads are actually being blocked off and the police are redirecting traffic right now. But I'm going to step out of the way here so we can get a closer look of what we are able to see. Further down this road, some downed power lines. There's actually two sets, officials tell me. The first set is sort of what you're able to see a bit more closely. Trees have blocked out that second set of downed power lines, but they've been working on this for a couple hours now, sort of. And to the left of that, what you're able to see on your screen is where the hospital is. We haven't been able to get a good look at it ourselves to see what sort of damage there is at that hospital, but we have been talking to people who have been walking by. They say the damage, what they're able to see, hasn't been too extensive to the hospital itself. Of course, we aren't able to know that for sure right now. Now, officials say they're still trying to assess the level of damage that has extended in this area and other parts of the city, but just even on our way over here, we saw a number of downed trees, down power lines, street lights even down, and officials tell me that they're going to be working on this for quite some time.
Tahalil, thank you so much. We do have a warning issue for the area, a severe thunderstorm warning now for Dodge and Fond du Lac County. So this extending from that one that was going to expire at 7 downstream. Again, that threat for a tornado possible, the same threat for wind speeds at 60 miles per hour, and that same threat for hail up to a quarter size. So this does include Beaver Dam, Mayville, and extending towards Interstate 41. So anyone right along this line, right along Highway 151, really would suggest getting into that safe place right now, because we have had so many reports of trees down, power lines down, semis, tractor trailers getting flipped over. I do want to go ahead and take a live shot right now of, I believe, a Middleton, where, as we just mentioned, the storm, the leading edge of it, starting to rumble in. So this is 12 at Parmenter Street. So you can see a lot of water on the roads. The rain right now, it looks like starting to come down and come into the area. So this is in Middleton. It's a good thing to actually not see a lot of folks on the roads right now, to be honest, because this is not something you want to be driving in with the rain coming through, with the wind the way it is. We've seen reduced visibility off to the west. So I would absolutely recommend, if you can wait, if you're trying to leave work right now, I would wait, stay a little longer. If you're at home trying to go someplace for the evening, I would wait and stay at home and stay safe. Because staying on the roadways right now, absolutely not recommended. Again, due to the visibility. Looking at the rain, this is our WIC CTV Skycam, and visibility just sliced for us currently because of the rain and the wind. You can see the wind blowing too, barely. Again, downtown Madison, usually a much clearer shot at 6:30 in the evening, and not the case. Platteville right now, behind the main line, but still seeing those isolated areas, isolated cells. We have a dark sky and some rain overhead, but things a little clearer at the surface for us, getting a little more clearing for us in parts of Grant County and parts of our southwestern portion of our viewing area, which is good news. That main line along a cold front, not ruling out the potential for a few more isolated showers. That's what we were just looking at in Platteville, and you can see some of those isolated showers still in parts of Richland County and the western edge of Sauk County. but this main line in front of the cold front, that's what's bringing the highest winds, the strongest winds, and that potential for hail and the tornado threat that we've been monitoring. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge and Fond du Lac counties until 7:15. This is our latest warning. A tornado warning still in effect until 6:45. So 6 more minutes at this point. Gary will be keeping an eye on that. Cambria included for Columbia, Dodge, Fond du Lac, and Green Lake counties, and then a severe thunderstorm warning again for Dodge and Fond du Lac counties as we look a little further south to Columbia. That severe thunderstorm warning goes until 7 o'clock. The wind threat with this has just really been building in over the afternoon. Looking at that radar loop over the last hour, you can see the line coming in so quickly, about 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, and you can see those pockets of stronger winds too, like up toward Randolph.
When we look at our velocity, what Gary was just pointing out, that brighter color popping up, that's what gives us a good indication that we're seeing high winds at the surface. Velocity is also what we use to look for that rotation, when we're seeing those reds and green mixing, blowing towards or away from our radar site. Right now, not concerned about that, but absolutely seeing those high winds outside of Cambria.
And just as we speak, the National Weather Service is keeping an eye on the surge heading toward the Beaver Dam area, and that's exactly what's coming out of the Cambria-Friesland area, and will probably pass just north of Beaver Dam over toward Fox Lake. So the northwestern portion of Dodge County should prepare for some very strong straight line winds, 60 to 70 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit stronger too.
Strong straight line winds, so that coupled with the hail threat and the heavy rainfall coming through, visibility is reduced, and possibly seeing again straight line wind damage with this. That shear track lines up with what we were just looking at for the highest winds and that possibility for rotation. It's really following that same line we were watching earlier south of Partyville. As far as hail track over the last few hours, quarter size hail, up to quarter size hail, still really in line with what we've been talking about throughout this line as it's built in. Throughout the area, we still have a tornado watch in the area. Cambria, there we go. Throughout southern Wisconsin, we still have a tornado watch in effect for us. Again, for areas south of Dane County, we don't have any warnings, but to the north, we do still have warnings. Looking at our future track for the next 3 hours, this line is going to continue to build east, the eastern edge of the state, seeing those showers as we get closer to 10. So that means as we time this out, it's 6:40 right now. We're seeing the edge of the showers just starting to get to the edge of Madison. So once we get closer to about 7:30, 8-ish towards Janesville and Beloit. So still another hour and a half or so before we have those showers really entering into the eastern edge of Rock County. A severe thunderstorm warning right now for Dodge, Fond du Lac counties that goes until 7:15. The wind and hail are primary concerns. A tornado is certainly possible. A quick spin up possible. A tornado warning still in effect until 6:45 for Columbia, Dodge, Green Lake, and Fond du Lac counties. Severe thunderstorm warning also in effect for Columbia County until 7 o'clock. This just south of Rio and towards Fountain Prairie. You can see that heavy rainfall along 16 and Highway 60, and that leading edge bringing in the high winds to our area. Yes.
Let's just take a look at the rainfall amount, see if Rain Vision has updated here, because
it's taking some time to totally populate and pull across.
Yeah, so you can see where the heavier cells have moved. Certainly the one that moved through Columbia County right now. We'll do a quick query on this, and so areas like east of Lone Rock, for example, maybe about 1.5 inches of rain. The fast movement of the thunderstorms is limiting the rainfall potential, but it's rains very hard for at least maybe a 10 to 20 minute period as those storms pass through. So again, you don't want to be out on the roads. The visibility drops off. We've shown a couple of traffic cameras at times when the storms are rolling through, and you see almost near zero visibility. In fact, if we go to our WISC sky cam right now, we had almost near zero visibility before. Let's take a look at this here. And so now you can see how things have improved. But notice the dark building clouds in the background. This view is looking to the southwest. So again, this is that line of storms. We had one burst of rain that moved through, now a little bit of a break, and now the next cell is already lining up to the south and west. Looking at the Platteville Queen Bee Radio Skycam, they are at the back edge of the storm, so things are starting to clear out there. And then if we look at the Edgewater Skycam, this is looking to the southeast. So the clouds are actually coming in from behind the camera, and everything looks very dark in downtown Madison, as the main line of storms is just about ready to push in. In fact, if we take a look here at the at Doppler track, you'll see where this line of storms is just moving through the city of Madison right now. No warnings in effect for Dane County as of now. Except for now.
Yeah, except for now.
Yeah, except we just have a new warning, severe thunderstorm warning. This is for central Dane County. Severe thunderstorm near Verona moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. So the very fast movement of this storm. Let me grab another radar here so that we'll zoom down to this. This is the new warning, and you can see it covers most of Dane County, including the city of Madison. And I'm going to save this here so that we can come back to it. So this is the new warning, and it takes a minute for the computer to kick in here, but there it is. Severe thunderstorm warning, 7:30, central portions of Dane County. So the storm right around Verona here, heading to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. So that storm is clipping along.
Very fast.
Yeah. So because of the fast movement of the storm, it looks like wind is going to be the main threat there. They're indicating winds of 60 miles per hour, hail perhaps up to the size of pennies as well. If we look at the wind velocities here on the storm, we'll probably see some strong winds. Yeah, look at that, that little core just to the northeast. There's Verona there's Mount Horeb. So this is right around Mount Vernon, heading to the northeast at about 70 miles per hour. So if you are anywhere, especially the north side of Verona, over toward Middleton, the west side of Madison, be prepared for some strong straight line winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour as that line of storms moves in. If we do a quick storm track on that too, I want to go back to that and just do a very quick storm track. That would take it, again, at 70 miles an hour. You can see where the storm would be over the next 30 minutes. So it moves into Madison by about just before 7, to the airport just before 7, and already in Sun Prairie just a little after 7. So that storm is really clipping along and probably will be producing some strong straight line winds.
It's moving incredibly fast, and that front edge of the rain just starting to get over downtown Madison. But again, the center of this that we were watching near Verona, this extends through Sun Prairie into the northeast corner of Dane County. This is our storm track. Kind of gives us an indicator where we're keeping the closest eye on the center of this. Notice our impacts here. Flooding, we're keeping an eye on the rain, we're keeping an eye on the hail. The wind impact on a scale of 10.
1 to 10, yeah.
Correct, a scale of 10, a 9.2. Tornado impact at 0. Wind is the concern right now, and straight line wind can absolutely cause significant
we can hear
damage.
it pouring here at the station.
On the roof right now, yes.
So.
So again, you need to be inside within the severe thunderstorm warning area, stretching again from Boston, Verona, extending all the way up towards Fitchburg. You need to be inside right now. Looking at these different cells popping through, each one of them has the potential to bring these high winds and heavy rainfall and hail threat. That's what we've been watching.
Yeah, they're not always in the greatest location, but I do want to indicate that each one of these shows where the storms will be moving in the next half hour. So you can see how quickly they are moving along. Generally to the northeast at about anywhere from 45 to 60 or even 70 miles per hour. So that means that they cover a long ways over a 30-minute time period. So again, keep that in mind. Even though it may not be raining where you are, you may see dark clouds off to the southwest. That storm is going to be on top of you very quickly.
It is, and that's one of the reasons why that severe thunderstorm warning area, that warning is extended so far out, because things are moving so quickly. Again, just outside of Portland, likely looking dry, likely seeing that dark sky off to the west. But you do need to get into your safe area because 10-15 minutes goes by so quickly. A severe thunderstorm warning right now, just the latest one issued for Dane County until 7:30. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning to the north. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, Gary. I believe that tornado warning expired at 6:45. I believe let's
go back.
If we can go ahead and take a broader look.
We still have the severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Dodge County until 7:15. Yes, the tornado warning for Columbia County has expired. So right now we just have, I don't believe we have any active tornado warnings. In fact, let's just go to the overall.
If we can look at the broader picture, yeah.
So yeah, there are no tornado warnings currently active, but we do have severe thunderstorm warnings, and some of these are high-end severe thunderstorm warnings for straight line winds of about 60 to 70 miles per hour. So the areas under the warning, of course, Dane County, the newest one, that's in effect till 7:30. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, northwestern Dodge County till 7:15. The southeastern portion of Columbia County, that is until 7 o'clock. So that's basically where all the warnings are right now. we do not have any tornado warnings again in effect for the area, although the area is under a tornado watch.
Exactly. We're under a tornado watch still until 10 o'clock. And although we don't have any tornado warnings right now, it's not to dilute any of those severe thunderstorm warnings, because notice again this wording here.
Yeah,
Yes.
and just to let you know, the Beaver Dam Police Department reporting the wind surge coming across the lake right now, and so you can take a look. Beaver Dam is right in the middle there.
That makes sense. It sounds like we have a shot really quickly of Verona Road, and again, significant rain. Folks driving through this right now. Visibility has been reduced. It doesn't look like...
Yeah, it looks like Raymond Road and
Verona Road.
So yeah, rain coming down very hard, and probably getting some strong winds as well.
Strong winds as well. Some good news though. It does look like the power's on, at least. That's always good news to see the stoplights working. A friendly reminder though, of course, with that water on the roadway, always be very, very, very careful, not just because of the winds right now and hydroplaning, but we haven't heard any major reports of flooding, but still a friendly reminder to not drive through any roads that are flooded. If you can't see the bottom of the road, you have no idea if the road's been washed out or not.
Yeah, I'm just doing a little quick cleanup here. So we'll go through those warnings, show where the storms are again. This is Dodge County, and why don't we go back to camera 4 there, and Dana can point this out.
Yeah, we have Dodge County and Fond du Lac County right now. Again, notice that wording, a tornado possible. It is a severe thunderstorm warning, but there's still that possibility for a quick spin up. That's still something we're monitoring. To the south in Columbia County, a severe thunderstorm warning until 7. Rio included in this. Again, wind speeds at 60 miles per hour and hail included in that. And then in Dane County right now through central Dane County, a severe thunderstorm warning. Yes, Gary?
No, I was checking my watch. It's 10 minutes to 7. I don't know if one of our producers wants to let me know if because we're going to keep going on. Also watching some circulations right around.
Switch to velocity.
So, okay, what do you want me to do here? So we do have the strong storms moving through the central portion of Dane County. Let's take it back to Susan and Eric.
All right, Gary, thank you. Now, here is some of the video of what we have seen so far. These are shots from the DOT camera. This is in Platteville. Also, we've had some from Camp Douglas as well, and along I-94. This looks like the Platteville tower camera, the DOT cam. That's our tower cam, I believe, in the Platteville area. So this says that you could see a funnel cloud forming as the storm would roll through, but I think that might be referring to this video here along I-94 County PP. This would be up north in the maybe in the Monroe County area.
Gary, you want to say something about
I was going to say, if we can go back to that with my microphone. Very difficult to tell. I don't know if we can go back to the last piece of video that we had there at the beginning of the storm.
I think it's all put together.
Okay. So yeah, it was difficult to tell, but that could have been the beginning of the storm that produced the tornado.
Well, you can see the heavy rain. That has been a big story today, and power outages as well. Right now, more than 22,600 people are without power. That's according to Alliant Energy.
Yeah, 21,197. And these are, we want to mention, we said this earlier, those power outages are just from today. There were there were about 1,000 or so that Madison Gas and Electric was still trying to do in the city of Madison from the storms that hit Monday night. They have gone up about 300. So they've seen a few more added today as well. But this is some other damage. We're getting it from the Mauston area. This is along 82.
Yeah, Juneau County was hit very hard earlier this evening.
Yeah, and Monroe County, it tipped over a trailer here. And you can see the roof of a building very badly damaged. The Italian grill there, a lot of damage throughout that area, particularly that corridor. Very familiar with it. Let's go back to Gary for the latest, and Dana on a weather warning.
Yeah, this is a new tornado warning here, and this
is Sun Prairie area and extending northeast. So this just coming in for us right now.
Yeah, so let's get the area here. This is, again, from that line of storms heading through Dane County. It is a pretty large tornado warning area, but this does include Sun Prairie, northeastern portions of Dane County. Tornado warning, possible tornado right around Sun Prairie, moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Again, let's take a look at the wind circulation here. And yeah, we are seeing a little bit of wind circulation here, not much, but there is some very strong wind right around the Madison area that's heading to the northeast. I'm just going to move the radar view here just a little bit so you can get a little better idea. So this is the area that's the possible tornado, just southwest of Sun Prairie, but some very strong winds around Madison. Everything heading to the northeast very rapidly at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So tornado warning now in effect, and this is for northeastern portions of Dane County, as well as western Dodge County and the southeastern portion of Columbia County. So that includes the city of Columbus, it goes as far north as Beaver Dam, areas just north of Watertown. So that area under a tornado warning now until 7:30 p.m.
So this is our latest warning. We had a brief moment where we were looking at just 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. This latest tornado warning just now dropping in. Again, this is an extension, the very northeastern portion of Dane County, also under a severe thunderstorm warning. Now on top of that, the tornado warning covering that, extending from Sun Prairie all the way up to Beaver Dam until 7:30. So we want to remind folks, we talked about this a bit ago, but it's been a minute. If you are within that warned area, again, stretching up to Beaver Dam and through Columbia, you need to get to the center of your basement now. Now is the time to go because these storms are moving very quickly, 50 to 60 miles per hour. So in the next 10 to 15 minutes, things are going to continue to build into your area, and that time's going to go by very quickly. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, or a closet on the lowest level, cover yourself with pillows or cushions or anything to protect you from any debris. And if you are in a mobile home right now, or if you're camping and outdoors and not in a solid structure, you absolutely want to get into something that is preferably brick and stable and anchored to the ground. In a vehicle, get out and get into a sturdy nearby building as an absolute last resort. Get into a ditch or buckle up and get down as low as possible. We've also mentioned that a few times. Now is not the time to be out on the roads. You should be staying at home. If you're in public buildings and you're streaming us on your phone, an inside room away from windows, away from exterior walls, and large stores right now, the small room like a walk-in fridge or a walk-in freezer, a secure space, that's where you want to get into. We have this latest tornado warning, again, extending from Sun Prairie through Beaver Dam, right along the leading edge of this line. It goes until 7:30. We've seen what could possibly be some rotation, a little bit of an indication of rotation, but frankly, the straight line winds near Madison and even along some of these other areas have just been ripping through for us right now as the storm's coming in a line at about 50 to 60 miles per hour, those wind gusts close to 60 miles per hour, and straight line winds can cause just as much damage as a small tornado coming through the area. So again, within this tornado warning, folks do need to seek shelter just along Highway 151 in areas to the east. Outside of that, we also have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of Dane County and stretching up into Columbia and Dodge County and further north into Fond du Lac County. So that's something else that we're keeping an eye on. We're going to look at a DOT camera right now. This is Highway 51 near Sun Prairie. Yes, Gary?
No, I was just going to say US 51 near Sun Prairie.
And we're told that tornado sirens are going off into Forest and Windsor.
The tornado sirens are going off into Forest and Windsor right now for good reason. There's a tornado warning. We need folks to get to their safe place, and again, in that severe thunderstorm warned area, also need to get to a safe place just because the tornado warning might not be exactly in your area if you're under that severe thunderstorm warning. We've had a tornado possible wording with each of those severe thunderstorm warnings popping up, and when we have things organized in a line like this, similar to what Gary was just looking at near Sun Prairie, we might not see a super clear signature for any rotation, but there's the possibility for a quick spin up that we miss with our radar scans. When things are in a tight line, it's hard to get that scan coming through crystal clear.
It looks like some very strong winds coming through Madison right now. As we speak. So again, not only is there a tornado threat out towards Sun Prairie, but also the potential there for some strong straight line winds through the Madison metro area and then eventually heading up toward Sun Prairie as well. So a dual threat from this storm. Much of the rest of Dane County,